Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of Pentiment. We're going to be picking up exactly where we left off with the thought that this might be the finale episode. It's a little bit difficult to tell, but based on where we are in sort of the achievement progress, I'm thinking that we're probably closer to the end than to the middle, and we're going to jump in here to continue. Marquardt, we were talking as we got in here that Jason McMaster, a good friend of the stream and a wonderful streamer in his own right, had sort of stepped away in the middle of one of his streams, and I just wasn't sure how things were going. And Marquardt is saying, I think it's the taking care of family which pulls him away without much warning. I suspect that very strongly, and I hope everything's going well. McMaster shared a stream, shared a story earlier in the weekend, really over the weekend, that I wouldn't want to repeat here only because it's his story to tell, but I know that he's been dealing with a lot, and I just hope that he's doing okay. I know that I was glad to have an opportunity to express that during the stream itself. That was me trying to hit the map button, and I would say it here as well. So I think, is it just out to the Rathaus? Hey, I don't know if Club is still here, but I would ask Club. Hold on. I don't know if this word is going to be any more familiar to Club. Club is from Belgium, so I wouldn't imagine so. But just in case. Well, this is awesome. I was looking for a pronunciation on the spelling of meeting at the so how would you say that? Is that Rathos? Rathos? I keep trying to get it a little bit closer, and I don't understand how that word is to be said. That more than anything is my disappointment that we don't have voice acting in this game. Voice acting would be expensive. It would add a lot of development time and development stress and stuff, but in a game like this, the thing that I would learn from that is how to say some of the things that are in the game. Oh, Club was asking what word? Let me see if I can get back to it here real quick. This is fun. So that word up there, top left, meeting at the Rathaus. Now, this is probably... So this game takes place in the 16th century, and it takes place in what would, I think, today be Germany. So it's not Belgian, it's not sort of like going to be close to Belgium, but I do know that you've done a lot of traveling throughout other parts of Europe, and I just didn't know if that word would be familiar to you. Because... somebody said that it would be like Rathone, except there's no N or E in it. So I'm just like, is that Rathos? I would love to Rathaus. See, that's what I thought that it might be. When I thought it was for like at first when I was introduced to the word, I was like, oh, is this like a colloquialism for like a slum, or like not a slum, but like a dilapidated building? And no, if it's I was supposed to go to the midwife. If the word is for, like, the town center, which is what it means here, I'd be a little surprised if that's what maybe that is what it means? But I don't know. Sorry. I need to get to the... Yes, here. I feel... Didn't I already talk to these folks? Magdalene Druckerin, I didn't expect to see you today. How's your father? He's not well, honestly. I don't feel like Magdalene stands back very much. Oh no, I'm so sorry. He'll be in our prayers tonight. Ours as well. Now then, is there something we can help you with, dear? I don't think Agnes, you're old is where we want to start. I have a small favor to ask. Oh, go on then, spit it out. If it isn't too much trouble, I'd like you all to recount what you remember of the revolt. I'm nearly done with my mural, but I need more details. I was so young and I don't remember much of that night. Oh, for that project of yours in the Rathos. I'm sorry. Is it actually pronounced Rathouse, though? Because I could absolutely believe Rathuis in Dutch. So it's actually Rathouse? Because there's like a Mausfanger, and like I feel like I know exactly how to say that, and this word just... is it not a TH sound? It's literally R-A-T, then H-A-U-S, so Rathouse? Because if that's right, that's how I'll say it. And that's how I was saying it originally. And somebody was like, no, it'd be more like Rathone. Anyway, I'm afraid I won't have much to say about the matter, but all right. Come sit down, Magdalene. Don't worry about helping us with the wreaths. It took me years to get the technique up to Mom's expectations, so you're better off not helping. Pah, you always did fine, Brigida. Why is it called... Hello to Zerder! Why is it called a rat house? Like, a lot of German is somewhat familiar, not all of it, obviously, but a lot of German is somewhat familiar to my American eyes as like, oh, I recognize this as being German, but usually can pick out what the meaning is. Why would the town center be called a rat house? Is that just like, oh, haha, politicians are rats? Or does it have some other... I just have so many questions. So, Magdalene, what do you need to know to finish the mural? I was hoping to ask you more about the revolt. All I can remember was the flames when the abbey burned. What part of the revolt? The abbot starving us out of house and home? Otto's murder? I doubt that would be a good painting. It seems like the abbot at Curacao wasn't on very good terms with Tassing. That would be legitimate to say. And there was an attempt to talk to the abbot, which we did learn this. Let's at least ask about that. That's a little bit more specific than this, which is non-committal to the point of, why don't you just tell me your story? Club is confirming it's the German word for it. Wow. No, I appreciate that. That's exactly, so I will go back to calling it a rat house. There was, until Otto was killed. After that, the monks shut themselves up in the abbey library. Meanwhile, that bastard abbot only ever cared for how many pfennigs he could get from us. Brigida, don't forget to twist the ends in. Twist the ends in. Can't have it looking like a Christmas hedgehog. I'm getting there, Mom. I looked after Martin and Kraft well enough, haven't I? I can manage this. Yes, well, after your father died, I've got no one left to nag besides you and that husband of yours. Thank God I have the both of you, as a matter of fact. Mutter of fact. Let an old woman have her vices. You know that, Club went to Rome for a while. I don't know if you've discussed any specific trips to Germany, but I know that you've done enough traveling that you seem like, you're going to have the right of it, so I will defer to that. Zerder says, when I put up timers to the next D&D sessions, I have to guess what's likely to happen and name it after that. And this campaign has been an alliteration challenge for me. So when I put up the next episode, and we're going to get another ally in Adventures, I had to call it Auspicious Ally. Really? Oh, Zerder, that's awesome. I love it. The Gertner house was a bit sad. Jorg always gets quiet this time of year. But it's Christmas. Yes, it's Christmas, but the Gertners have struggled for a long time, even after Peter died. Well, more after Peter would died. Tassing's lost a good number of folks over the years, and feast days and celebrations make it harder to bear. You mean the revolt, right? The revolt, the murders, that fool Andreas had to meddle in everything. Didn't do too much good, if you ask me. I thought he was Dad's friend. You mean Master Mauler? Dad said that none of that was his fault. Dad said that Master Mauler made some mistake, that he was seeking justice for everyone in town. I'm going to go with this, because I think that, among other things, I think that it's like, I know what I wanted to do. However, I don't know that after Andreas left for like, what was it, like 8 years or something, didn't write to Klaus, that Dad would have considered him a friend. So I'm going to go with, he definitely made some mistakes, but he was seeking justice. And I think that your father is right in that. And yet, he'd already meddled enough in Tassing after the Baron's murder that he held more sway than he knew. I could understand it the first time. He wanted to save that old monk. I dare say he saw him as a father. And it was proven the prior was a witch, so I suppose he did some good for Tassing then. I think Woslav might be the only person left in Tassing who even remembers the old prior. That's when the old trouble started. I say, the townsfolk saw O Monk killed, and the abbot was incensed. Then came the revolt, and Andreas Muller happened to show up nearly the day of Otto's murder. Dad always says the townsfolk didn't stand with the peasants as long as they should have. That is true, he does say that. I always heard the night was a slaughter. Why didn't anyone stop the peasants? Well, here's the thing, and it's a little frustrating to me that even though she's been, like, indicated what happened, people need to sit her down and say, no, look, you need to understand, it wasn't stop the peasants, it was Peter. He's the guy. Like, there were other people in that room that survived. They know what happened. Wasn't Big Jorg in the room? Yeah, see, Club does do some traveling. I'm gonna go with what Dad says, because this is what Dad says. Well, I won't begrudge Klaus his opinion, even if he's wrong. A shame it had to happen at all, I think. I knew the revolt was a bad idea from the start. Old Woslav would be the only one to know what happened inside the old church now, before the fire. Some like to say things were always this bad, that violence was the only way, but it wasn't. Life got worse over the years. It wasn't like this when I was a child, not in my grandparents' time either. Sure, the abbot was pinching the townsfolk and the peasants were suffering, but to go against the church? But like you said, things weren't always so bad. We fought to make things right. Well, things didn't get better for the people that lost the people that died. The revolt didn't totally fail. The abbot and the monks have left. It doesn't seem like things have gotten much better. No, I mean, they're not, like, on the rare occasion that this section has had us eating, we haven't been eating scraps off the floor, which is what things were like when Andreas revisited. So... but she doesn't know that. The revolt didn't totally fail. The abbot and the monks have left. The abbey may be gone, but Tassing has only traded one lord for another. The peasants were so angry over the abbot's perceived injustices, they thought they could make it right with even more injustice. Then the abbey caught fire and everyone ran, but by then the soldiers had arrived to stop them all. That soldier even warned Peter, but nothing would stop him besides steel. Yeah, I mean, to be blunt, they should have knocked that guy down sword-wise, a minute earlier. So nothing got better at all? No, not as I see it. The Lord is just as severe as the abbot was and threatens force at every turn. That's life. You can struggle and die to accomplish something and nothing changes. The dead are luckier. They died believing they changed something. We're stuck with the harsh reality. This is all you've known, Magdalene. You've grown used to it. We all have. I mean, I kind of want to thank them for sharing the story, but I don't feel like Magdalene would be like, okay, thanks. Oh, Club did a skiing holiday in February. I think I remember that. Where did you go for that? Was that in Belgium someplace, or did you went to another country, I thought? Yeah, because no, that was New Year's. I saw your photographs of New Year's, but I don't think of the skiing vacation, I don't think. Like I said, not the best piece for a mural, huh? I want to be the mural as accurate as possible. Then I'm never setting foot in the rat house again. Oh, hush, Veronica. I'm sure Magdalene will paint it beautifully. Good luck, Magdalene. Time to go to the commons for the Perchtenlauf. So that's the party that we heard about last time, and the commons are a bit south of here. Christ, it's too damn cold.
Shut your mouth, boy. We've done this festival every year. You won't die standing here for 5 minutes.
Oh, good, you made it, Magda. I was getting worried you would miss the procession. I would miss the Perkton Loft for the world. The costumes are just too wonderful to miss, aren't they? I remember the masks scared me when I was little. Shh, it's starting! Oh, Artemis looks so lovely. I'd love to be the bright saint one year, leading off the demons into the woods. It's the only type of boys that'll follow you, Artemis. Apollo, stop that. Sorry, Mom. Christina, see the Perkton? I don't know what Perkton is. Named after the Germanic goddess Perkta. Perkton are supernatural creatures similar to devils who follow Perkta in the wild hunt. So scary. I don't like it. Do you guys ever see that video of, like, the little boy who was at the... who was at the, like, the live action, like, play acting of, like, oh, God, I'm ruining the story. Of Avengers, like Avengers Infinity War or something, and, like, the actors have the Thanos character, like, down on his knees, and, like, he's got his arms, like, behind him, and some kid, like, runs out of the audience and, like punches the dude right in the face. He's a little kid. He's, like, 3 years old, but he saw his move and went for the head. It's so funny. I feel bad for the guy. I really do, because even a little kid, you get punched in the nose. It's like, hey, but also, like, dude is brave, right? Like, can you imagine being like 3 or 4? I mean, like, toddler. This is a little kid. He was so into it. It's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop Thanos, Dad. Anyway, shh, Andreas, you're all right. They're only costumes. Big masks that our neighbors are wearing, remember? Ugh, it's so cold. Magdalene, would you want to be the Bright Saint or one of the Perkton? Perkton, 100%. Yeah. They're so spooky. I think the mask would get stuffy, but it would be fun to take any part. You'll get your chance, don't worry. Look at how cold. Wow, Claire's really shivering. I don't know if that comes across in the stream, but she's like, you can see her like vibrating. Tassin's done the Perkton Loft for as long as I can remember. Everyone in town's been a part of the procession before. Well, except for you young ones yet. The hair on my neck is standing up again. Haha, are the Perkton giving you the shivers too? That's why we're driving them away, you know. As beautiful as ever. Actually, a bunch of them are shaking. As goddamn long as ever. Well, at least we're gonna eat after this. Club needs to see that. If I could remember the name of the video, I would say it here. Oh, hey, Mags. I don't, I saw the clip on Twitter. I'm sure that it's up on YouTube someplace. It's just as I described it. It's just like a bunch of people in Marvel costumes who were doing like a play for the kids, and one kid who decided to take his shot. Mags, whatever. Mags. No, not whatever. You made it. I was worried for a minute you'd skip out of the fun. Merry Christmas, Mags. Don't hog all the beer before I've had some, you pig. Better hurry. I think Big Jorg is on his third Loretti. Baltus made a special batch for this year. Alexander and Cass looks like they're gonna play something too. I wonder, what if he does have a problem with names? It seems unlikely, but I have a problem with faces, and people sometimes think that I'm, like, just being inconsiderate. I really don't want to be. Did you forget Casimir's name, or are you just giving everyone nicknames? That's a secret, Mags. Come on, let's go get some food. I hope they turn on the music soon. This is a pretty dire room. Hey! Everyone listen up. Hey, quiet down, everyone. Take the volume level down. Jorg would like to speak.
Yes, thank you, Veronica. On behalf of the town council, I wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight.
Listen intently. Don't yell or whisper.
This year has been tough on all of us. We've had more snowfall than anyone can remember, and the early frost gave us a small harvest. Folk haven't come through the pass as often. Nico, you've been short of customers, and we've all missed the tradu. Alexander and Casimiras, you've been kept from your journey. Nazu, the snaw has kept you from returning home. And I know we've all felt the lack of Klaus in town, as he's been bedridden these past few months. And yet, the Lord has blessed us each with each other, cheerful guests and good company. Cheers. Amen. Thanks be to God. God bless. Well, okay. Somebody put coffee in Big York's tea. Even though this season has been rough, God knows we still have a lot to celebrate this Yuletide. So, like, I know Yuletide. Oh, Club found it, and the other kids joined in as well. I may not have seen the full clip then. I didn't know that. That's funny, and also I hope the dude was okay. Is it the same clip? Because the one that I saw was one kid who, like, just rushes out and just, like, sucker punches this guy. It's a sort of, like, the sort of kid that if you, like, got knocked in the side of the head, he'd probably, like, not even really feel it. But if you got punched in the nose, which I think he, like, goes for the face. Anyway, Yuletide is Christmas time, referring to the pagan celebration of Yule on the winter solstice. This term was Christianized to return to I don't know what's happening between my eyes, mind, and mouth. This term was Christianized to refer to Christmas time. Endris, you've made tools we couldn't have gone without. They're just practicing my trade. Dr. Stoltz, you've kept us all in good humors.
A proof of my experience, Jorg, in such cruel weather.
Keep listening.
Magdalene, you've painted the mural for us.
So let's think about this. Thank you all for entrusting me with this task. I have done my best to honor the history. Although this is probably very much where her heart is, I feel like it's a real downer at this bustling and boisterous Christmas celebration to bring everybody down by, like, I wish my dad was here. It's true, but it just sort of, like, brings down the room. You're allowed to feel how you feel, and if you need help from people, you should reach out. Doing so in, like, a crowded room, I don't know, it's not the way that I would feel comfortable, so maybe I'm sort of imprinting a bit on Magdalene here. Despite some doubts from the town council, I'm happy to say the mural is nearly completed. No, I like the top one. I want everybody to know that my goal, Magdalene's goal, was to honor the town history.
Alexander and Casimiras, you've spread good cheer in the early winter nights. Our pleasure, truly. And especially tonight, I think we should thank Baltus for making such a wonderful beer for us all to enjoy.
Huzzah! Hooray! Everybody, hear.
No, please. Nazio helped tremendously. So thanks to him, really.
Ah, well, grazie.
And thanks to our Lode, who has so graciously provided for this feast.
Thanks to the man's deep pockets. Casimiras, I don't remember this guy's. I had a voice for Mr. Dome Hat last episode, but
Casimiras and I shall play later in the evening, so please come to us with songs if you have one in mind.
And everybody wants to dance and cheers.
Well, that's it, everyone.
If I may, Jorg, I'd like to bless this great feast our Lord has provided for us.
Of course, Father.
Today, we have come together to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Just as our Lord has provided for us with this meal, so too did Christ provide us with the bread of life. So please, join with me in prayer. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts which we are about to receive. Through Christ our Lord, amen.
Everyone's amening. Except for, like, Killian. Hello to Borlak! Borlak, can you remind us, it's on May 6th, isn't it? The Darkness into Light, the charity event that Lady B is doing?
Now, please,
this is Thomas.
Now, please, everyone, I know that Baltus made a fine beer, but remember that temperance is a virtue. Celebrate the Christ child as though his manger were here with us.
Sorry, this is very funny. I'm whispering this, right? It's the small font. Like, it would be very bad form, but I don't know that Magdalene can bite her tongue anymore.
He's really reaching this year, isn't he?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Finally, let's eat. Okay, well, at least we got some crowd noises now. A golden Christmas. Okay, let's talk to Eva.
Hey, Magdalene, you finally came over to say hello?
Hello again?
Hey, Magdalene.
Happy Christmas, Eva. Till. Magdalene, how good to see you.
How's that mural coming along in the rat house? Almost finished it, I hear.
That's right. The last I heard about it, you were still working on the middle section. The history of the saints, right? Okay, so this is mostly about Mother Francisca, it looks like. Kind enough to let me into the convent so I could use the cloister as a reference. So I want to share these details. Yes, 5 a.m. May 6 UK time. It's going to go all night. It's going to be like a really... Oh, and she's here! This beats Punch and Judy show any day of the week. I am glad that you are enjoying it. Yeah, Lady B, Borlak was just sharing with us the details of the upcoming charity stream, which is going to be in a couple weeks. I'm very much looking forward to it. I may have told Mother Francisca that I wanted to... let's not do that. Here's the thing. If we share with everybody, oh yeah, I sometimes lie to get what I want, then the impact of the mural and whatever it depicts will be greatly diminished. I finished that section now. The old abbey ruins were hard to climb through, but I wanted to paint it right. Yeah, we went to some effort. Oh, but the remains of the abbey are so run down. That sounds dangerous.
You went into the old abbey, Magdalene, without me?
Of course I did.
Huh, quite a capable young woman you are, Magdalene.
Till?
Not that I'm encouraging it, mind. Well, you clearly can handle yourself since you made it back without any problems. And I did warn you about the dangers, not that I told you to go digging around down there, mind.
Anyway, Magdalene, what are you painting on the mural now? I'm working on depicting the revolt, but I think I angered Agnes when I asked her about it.
That's right, you were just a few years old then. God, has it been that long?
Don't worry about Agnes. She acts cranky, but she's never truly upset with anyone. It is true, if you're upset with everyone all the time, you're not really upset at anybody. It took years for Tassing to recover after that night. Thank God we've come a long way since then.
Otto would be proud of what this town has accomplished.
Boy, I don't know. See, here's the trouble with this. A shame that he died without seeing what the town became.
I feel like it leaves open the interpretation that the town became this regardless of his influence, and I don't think that's true. I think that it became this because, you know, I feel like the town recovered and improved because people remembered what he had done for the town. I'm just going to go with I think so too. You know, Magdalene, I think he would be especially proud of you for memorializing passing the mural. He would be thrilled to think that you'd become a part of the family. So I would feel like this. I'm honored that you think so. I'm trying to think if Magdalene would say this. Are you proposing that I marry your son? Sure, why not? Why not? Everybody's had a couple beers. You're a capable young woman, Magdalene. Marriage is the next stage in life for you. We'll have to speak with Klaus, of course, but you and Oates are a good match. Can I just stare awkwardly? Anyway, I don't mean to keep you chatting away with us older folks. Have fun and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Eva. Till. Merry Christmas, Oates. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Mags. See, that's the thing. I just can't with this dude. I don't, in this era, in this time, I don't want Magdalene to, like, be alone and then, like, have her shop sold out from under her because she's not allowed to own property. It feels like it's really dangerous. But this dude just doesn't give a shit about her. It really bothers me. Merry Christmas, Magdalene. Enjoying the celebration? I can't remember the last time we had a celebration this big. It's a nice change of pace. Especially after having to work in this damn cold. I swear it seeps into your bones.
Grandpa keeps saying there have been worse snows, but I swear I can't remember a colder winter. There were winters that came so early. The crops froze before we could harvest them. Cough.
Because I'm not going to cough into the microphone.
We had to do a special Parkton loft that year. Burn the crops in the offering. Next spring, we had a double harvest.
Of course you did, old man. Anyway, like Jorg said earlier, it's nice to have a night of good company and cheer. Okay, this seems like a super shitty thing to say. By the way, your speech was bad. Let's be more specific than that was a lovely speech. Thank you for mentioning my father in your speech. He'll be glad to know he was missed.
You're welcome, Magdalene. Klaus is a good man, and we all miss him as part of the community. To be honest, I didn't expect to make a speech tonight. I just thought about what happened in town this year.
Really?
Werner kept insisting that someone make a speech.
Interesting. Why would Werner be all up that somebody needed to make a speech? He was here for the speech. He wasn't trying to distract from anything.
Paul said that I was the most charismatic of anyone on the council.
He said that?
Well, he said that I would make the least amount of people angry over it. Baltus said it was my charisma.
I don't think that he did a bad job. I mean, like, I'm the one, like, verbalizing it, but I thought that he acknowledged what everybody had done and brought to the celebration and worked on this year. I don't think that it was bad, but there's nothing in here to do that. I guess I'll just smile awkwardly. Cough.
To be honest, I never thought I'd be someone people in passing listen to.
But you've always been a part of the town council.
We didn't always have a council, though. It wasn't until the night of the revolt, really, that I felt like I could do things on my own, be my own man. I loved my father, but what he did, I thought it had doomed the town.
A lot of terrible things happened all at once.
I mean, this is true, but I do feel like a lot of the blame could be shouldered by Peter. We're gonna say this, though. No, but my dad chose violence. He chose to destroy the Abbey. I always went along with him because he was my dad. He had to be right. That night was the first time I thought any different. I learned that night that if you can fight for something right and still choose the wrong way to do it, that you can fight for something right and still choose the wrong way to do it. And I swore that I would never let that happen again.
Can I just note that that's a lesson that I've learned a bunch in life? Hello to Mia, who's walking the dog but listening, and hello to Hickey as well. I hope you guys have had a good Monday.
The revolt broke down everything. I thought I knew about Tassing, about myself, but it made a lot of things better for Tassing. That makes me hopeful.
What do you mean?
Well, our new lord is strict, but he made a deal with us. The council lets us govern ourselves. As much as I was grumbling earlier today, Jorg is right. Life changed in Tassing, and even though the first few years were hard... Sorry, I just like the fact that the apostrophe is in the wrong place. We're better for it now. No abbot looking down on us, making stupid laws as he sees fit. Our lord lives days away. As long as we pay our taxes, we're left alone. It's a better life for Artemis and Apollo than we had.
I think that I feel is an unambiguous good. Look at how much, I know that the Lord paid for the food, but people aren't going hungry the way that they were before. So it's weird that a lot of people died and it worked out, but also maybe the peasants made a point. Like, there's only so far that we can be pushed, and if you're gonna come in and kill some of us, next time you're gonna have to kill all of us, and then you won't have anything here. So we've got to be able to cut a deal. Oh, and by the way, Lady B is saying hello to more than Mia and Hickey. So I know that she's dog walking Lady B, but I'm confident Mia would say hello right back.
Don't you talk ill of my son, boy. He gave you everything he had, God rest his soul. Cough, cough.
I know, Grandpa. See, I'm sort of really coming around to this. Without the revolt, you wouldn't be able to give the twins a better life, which is what has happened. And I'm not sure that the council has done a great job. I feel like the council is preferable to just like what was happening under the Abbey. Let's go with the revolt. You wouldn't be able to, without the revolt, you wouldn't be able to give the twins a better life. In some horrible way, I guess that's right. God grant us the courage to live with our actions. I've done the best I can to do right by the town and Dad.
Your son. You've done him proud, boy.
Thanks, Grandpa. Anyway, I'm going for another pint. Anyone else?
Yes, bring a pitcher.
You've had enough, Grandpa. Your humors might become unbalanced. Another for me, York. I'm gonna drink it right in front of Grandpa. Magdalene? So I think that she's still working on the mural, right? So I'm gonna say no thank you. All right, we'll see you later then, Magdalene. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hello, Magdalene. Happy Christmas to you.
Good evening, Magdalene.
Merry Christmas, you two. All right, Andreas, say hello to Mr. Struckerin. Hi. Ooh, is he bashful? Hi. Oh, Andreas, don't be shy. You know Mistress Magdalene.
Sorry, Magdalene. He's still a bit quiet.
Hello, Ulrich. Hello, Andreas. Say hello back. I love her hat. I love the fact that she's wearing Andreas' hat. I know that I've said that. It's just such a cool thing.
How did you like your speech, Madeline?
Magdalene, sorry.
Yeah, I think I like this. It's a good reminder of everything that we still have. Look, the man doesn't need to be like Moses or whatever. He's just saying hello to everybody and acknowledging what they did. A bit simple is what you want. Do we want him to go on for an hour? Like, it's fine. For Paul putting him up to it is the last moment. It was well done.
Well, Werner insisted someone on the council make a speech. I didn't particularly want it to be me. But Jorg did it justice. You can always count on him to speak from the hearth, especially a few drinks in.
Truthfully, I think much of the town needed some encouragement today. Tassing hasn't had such a hard season since
the revolt.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's Christmas. We shouldn't speak of such sad times. Let's toast to better days, then.
Cheers to that. Although, there is an old Latin proverb my dad used to say to me, Ignis aurum proet miseria fortris viros.
Literally no idea.
Fire is the test of gold, misery is the proof of strong men. There's no question the revolt left Tassing worse off, but seeing the town now gives me hope.
You're an artist, Magdalenu. I think you can see it too. I don't know about that, aside from the church holidays the past few months have felt bleak. That's very true for her. Much more than a lot of the other people. Everybody has problems, but she's like watching her dad pass away in slow motion. I'm gonna go with this. How I'm painting the Rathaus mural.
I hadn't considered that, but yes, now that you mention it, it seems fitting that you should paint the mural now. Memorializing Tassing's history in this mural will remind everyone what the folk of this town are made of. To be honest, most nights I'm grateful for the revolt.
Really?
Oh yes, you wouldn't remember, but life was already terrible before that night. The revolt burned away the dead wood that had rotted Tassing for
Decades. He's not wrong, from what I've seen. Hello to Fox McCloud. Fox, I think we're nearing the end of Pentiment, but I'm not sure.
God knows my father was an evil man. His death released me from years of fear.
Every time there's a blank, I'm basically guessing at what I think it might be, and every time it comes up correct, I'm like, hooray!
The revolt gave me the courage to face him, to become better than him. I think something of the same happened when the Abbey was destroyed. If things had gone on as they always did, well, I doubt we'd be having such a Yule festival tonight. The cost was high, but
it resulted in just as much joy as grief. I hadn't thought about it that way, except that I really had, so... Now, you really think so feels like it's... Like, really? You think so? And I don't think that she means it that way, but I'm just going to go with I hadn't thought about it that way. Because of the revolt, I could marry Paul, and we could supply grain to peasants at a fair price. Yeah, see, that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. Like, when the miller died, I would say almost, not really, but almost as much as the abbot leaving and, like, the changeover in lord to somebody who wasn't, like, quite as oppressive, the miller ruthlessly, like monopolizing the town's grain mill, that probably had a lot to do with it once that died. Foxcloud is asking, is your character alive? She's blinking every once in a while, so I feel like she's probably kicking. And hello to Maxine! Maxine, I hope you had a great Monday. Our children will grow up without the fear that ruled over my life as I got older. No moment in life is entirely good or bad, Magdalene. What matters more is how we choose to see it. But without an objective perspective, we could lose all hold on what we perceive as good or bad.
I suppose so, but that sounds a bit beyond me at the moment.
Yeah, one too many ales, dear?
No, just above my head. You sound like Baltus when he's in the middle of a project, Magdalene.
Don't forget to take some time to have fun tonight, all right? Mommy, I want another cookie. Shh, don't yell, sweetheart.
Excuse us, Magdalene. It seems we have cookies to fetch.
Of course. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas, Magdalene. See, calling her Magdalene isn't that hard. Some people figured it out. So, wait, before we talk to Alexander, because for all I know, like, that might kick off the musical score for tonight. Fox McCloud is saying Paul looks like he's drinking out of a flower pot. I think you're right.
What?
Merry Christmas, Werner.
What's merry about it?
Friends and family coming together to feast.
Friends, family. Who needs that shit?
By the grace of God, you do, Werner.
Did I ask you, Baltazar?
No, no, be merry, my friends. Drink and be merry.
Finally, someone with some sense.
Sure, why not? Magdalen's stone cold sober. You two have been fighting for years. Isn't right now the perfect time to resolve your disagreements?
No.
I fear that ship may have sailed a while ago, Magdalene. So you two sit together at the same table, being angry and not talking to each other. I'm no soothsayer, but to me it looks like you want to be friends, but are too stubborn to get over yourselves.
Ha ha, she's sharp, this one.
I don't have a good voice for him.
Nyeh.
Don't take her side, Nazio. I'm sorry, but if she's right, she's right. That's really more of a Baltus voice, whatever.
Yeah, I refuse to get myself roped up in this foolishness.
Just talk to each other, it can't be that bad.
Some differences are irreconcilable. Right, Baltus?
Yes, quite so. Let's not call too much attention to it. All right, good enough. I'll leave you to it and go enjoy the feast.
Yes, please. Release our aging souls from your torment.
Perhaps a dance later, Mum. Or, Why not, I say. Until later, gentlemen. Maybe Oates will recognize that he's not the only game in town. Hold on. Oh, Club is saying hello to Mia as well. Yes, if anybody missed it, Mia is out walking a dog, so her, like, interactivity in chat might be a little bit limited, but she can hear, and yes, Mia, Club and Maxine are both saying hello to you as well.
Happy Christmas, Magdalene.
Magdalene, dear. Merry Christmas, Magda.
God bless.
Merry Christmas, everyone. How are you enjoying the feast? Utterly delightful.
A hearty meal, a mug of Baltus's latest brew, and everything a soul could wish for.
It's everything your ample belly could wish for.
I am as God made me in
Is infinite wisdom. Oh, they misspelled with the red ink. You know, that's got to be expensive. Yeah, let's take credit from the cookies. Hey, I made the cookies.
Indeed, they were most satisfying. Yes, very tasty. Well done.
It's been wonderful watching you grow into the person you are, Magdalene. Klaus must be proud. I thank you for the kind words. Maybe we won't, like, get too much into my dad right now.
I agree with everything that's been said. A toast to Magdalene.
To Magdalene! Nazidravu? Oh boy. This is probably a well-known phrase to everyone except me. Absolutely no idea. I don't have a drink to toast with.
Then toast with your heart.
I'm so happy I married you, Endris.
The day I was inspired to come find you in Innsbruck was the most important day of my life.
Ah, love at long last. We know the feeling, don't we, Woslav?
The path before us was filled with thorns and thistles, but we endured. Make sure to prepare for that, Magdalene. There will always be some thorns on the path.
I feel like she's had, like, a lot of thorns. People almost dropping bricks on her head.
Careful,
Can't. Too many voices.
Careful, Woslav. Magdalen's the sharpest thorn out of all of us.
I feel like, I don't know how old anybody is ever, but I do feel like life expectancy at this point wasn't where it is today, as is pre- and postnatal care. So I'm not sure that anybody here, it would be wise for them to be having kids at this age. And that's not judgment, it's just maybe my misunderstanding of what the medical situation was for people in general and women in childbirth. So also, it just always seems a little bit crass. So, having kids? When are the kids coming? I don't think that that's really Magdalen's whole bag, so I'll let you continue with the celebrations. Stay safe, dear.
Make most of this night. You've earned it.
Not the most. God bless you, Magdalene.
Enjoy the feast. God bless you.
So, have we now talked to everybody except for the musician? Because I wouldn't be surprised if we actually got to hear the song that they were going to do. So that's why I wanted to talk to everybody. I want to make sure that if it's just like stepping on a cat's tail, like these guys are just so bad that they didn't make everybody clear out.
Ah, Mistress Magdalene. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Alexander. Merry Christmas, Kazimierz. Enjoying the night?
Very much so. The cookies especially. I haven't had such wonderful gingerbread in ages. We were just setting up to perform.
Did you have any particular song in mind you've wanted us to play, Yov?
Between the two of us, we know all the Christmas songs between here and Spain.
I have no idea what any of these sound like, so I have no idea. They're all super religious. There's not like any like good, fun harvest Yuletide. It's all like just stuff from the church. From heaven above to earth I come. Fine, we're gonna do this one.
The one written by Martin Luther. I don't oppose, but are you sure we ought to?
Why not? It's Christmas.
Haha, if you say so. Once Kaz and I play what we've prepared, we'll be sure to play that one. Merry Christmas, everyone! Since it is Christmas, Kazimierz and I wanted to share a special song with all of you in the spirit of giving. Please enjoy.
In dulce jubilo, nun singet und seid froh, unsers Herzens Wonne liegt in Praesepio und leuchtet als die Sonne, Matris in gremio, Alpha es et O, Alpha es et O. O Jesu Parvule, nach dir ist mir so weh, tröst mir mein Gemüte, o puer optime, durch alle deine Güte, o Princeps Gloriae, trae me poste, trae me poste.
I don't know. Dude got it done. I thought that was pretty good.
Thank you, truly.
Now I come back in sounding nothing like that man's singing voice.
Please return to your drinks. We'll be playing all night. Happy Christmas!
Okay, so we can talk to Big York again. Let me just see if anybody else is kicking. Also, Maxine. Well, Fox was saying play Firestarter by Prodigy. Club approves of the musical selection. And then Maxine was asking if that was German. Had he been speaking regular German, I may also have not picked that out. So I will defer to the knowledge of Club or anybody else that knows German to, or has heard enough German to know.
Hey, Magdalene. Sorry to bother you during the feast.
Oh, hello, Jorg. Did you need something?
Well, all the chatter around the revolt earlier had me thinking. You're nearly done with the mural now, aren't you? The last time you talked with the council, you said you were working on the final portoin, painting the revolt. I don't mean to nag during the feast, though. That's Veronica's job.
She's right there, dude. Like, she's right behind you. I should have it done soon. I've been listening to people around town talk about the revolt so I can get a better idea of how to paint it. Everyone has a different idea of how that night happened. But I think I finally settled on how I want to depict it.
Yes?
Okay, this is important. Let's read through. I want to honor the peasants, what the peasants stood for. I'll show Otto giving a speech and the soldiers in the distance. Now that sounds true. I'll paint the peasants burning the abbey and the mill, and the lanzknechts defending the monks. That's not really false, except the monks weren't under attack, and that's the problem. Club is confirming that it was German. I think I'll show the aftermath of the revolt and paint the ruined abbey surrounding by everyone who died and their families. Wow, I could go with 1 or 3 here. The aftermath of the revolt skips right past the revolt itself. It just says a lot of people died. I want to honor, like, if I have to choose between these, this feels so vague. The aftermath of the revolt. Then a bunch of stuff happened, and then a bunch of people were dead. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to show Otto giving a speech and the soldiers in the distance.
That's a good perspective. It shows what happened without being too detailed about, well, what happened. I'm sure everyone will love it. Klaus will be proud of the design you've picked. Eva would like that especially. Anyway, I'll get out of your way. You've got better things to do. I think Oates was looking for you, too.
He always is. I think I'll actually go home for the night. I've had enough of Oates' flirting, and I should check in on my dad.
Tell him hello from all of us, all right?
I will. Good night, Jorg.
Good night, Magdalene.
I hope... Well, hold on, I'm going the wrong way. I think. Wait, where do I live? I feel like I used to know my house, and then I changed which human being I am. Drucker House. Okay, yeah, we're going this way. Okay, this is going to answer our question. Is this going to be a brand new encounter, or do we know Amelie? Because I cannot remember if Magdalene has ever spoken with Amelie before. Amelie? Oh, she definitely knows her. Oh, Merry Christmas, Sister Amelie. Were we bothering you with the noise next door? No, not at all. Hearing people celebrate Christ's birth brings me great joy. Christmas time should be a heartening time of year for us L. I enjoy seeing everyone feeling better about the future, especially after all Tazing has endured. That seems good. I always think there's something healing about coming together to celebrate Christmas. There's nothing like a warm mug of beer and music to warm up from the dark winter days. I thought they'd never end. Oh, the dark winter days. Okay, like, here's the thing. Although I feel like this would be a perfectly reasonable thing for Magdalene to say, this woman lives in a tomb, okay? Like, I don't know that's like, yeah, my life really sucks. By the way, how's your coffin? This woman, if anybody wasn't here earlier, she literally sleeps in her own grave. She dug her own grave, and she's just waiting until the day that she doesn't wake back up. So I'm not going to spend my, like, yeah, the warm mug of beer and the dark winter days really suck. I'm going to go with this. I enjoyed seeing everyone feeling better about the future. The people here have suffered greatly, but we must always find hope in the midst of despair. It is fitting to celebrate Christ's birth on days with so little light and warmth. People need Christmas in the depths of winter to remind them that spring will return, and we will all have a chance to live again. Magdalene, who is that? Someone who's been following me. Go get him! Please excuse me, Sister Amelie. I need to check on my father. I'm gonna say this. That looked a lot like old Andreas to me. It did, like, that long beard, that looked too old to be Caspar, who is my other thought. Check on Dad. The door is open. Is someone here? Dad? Grab a pot. You're gonna have to do some swinging. Grab the broom. Oh, I literally tried to grab the broom. I pressed A. Dad, I changed my mind. I went downstairs and then back upstairs again. Oh, thank God.
Magdalene, is that you? What's the matter?
Someone was standing near the house. The door was open. I was afraid something might have happened to you, or that somebody's standing behind the bedroom door right now. Then again, you would expect Klaus to see it, based on the angle.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything. I've been asleep most of the day, most of the evening, too. I'm worried about you, Magdalene.
You're worried about me?
You're working too hard. I know taking care of me takes up so much of your time. And I know how hard you've been working on the mural.
Oof. I want to finish it for Christmas. Let's go with this, because I don't get as tired as quickly as you do. Fox was predicting Dad would be dead. I didn't think he'd be dead, but I thought that we might walk in on him being well on his way. So this is a surprise.
I know. Damn near an impossible task given the size of that rat house. Well, maybe if you did just one wall. I'm not gonna make it, Magdalene.
I don't like I know. Are you a doctor now?
I've known Werner Stoltz long enough to know when he's going through the motions. He's never been kind, but there's a special coldness to him when he's attending to a dead man. Wow. It's all right. This is just life. I'm glad I'm going before you, even if it's sooner than either of us would like. I've already seen too much death in my time.
I just wanted to show you what I could do. I wanted you to be proud of me.
I have been. Every day of your life. You've never needed to prove anything to me. I wish I could stay to see the mural when you finish it. But I don't need to. I know it will be more beautiful than anything these old hands have ever made.
Don't say that.
It's true, though. I mean, I got along all right. But I always knew you would surpass me before long. You can already see things that I never could. See things and make them real.
I'm trying.
You're doing it. Whether I die tonight or tomorrow or the next day, I'm not going to be here much longer. One morning, you're going to wake up and you'll have to do things for yourself. Love things for yourself, and you'll have to share it with the world. Love is the only reason to do anything in this life. Oh, all this talking. Too much. Could you bring me something to eat?
Of course, Dad, you haven't eaten all day.
And I miss the Christmas feast too. I can't believe no one brought me a cookie.
I'll go get some soup. But no cookies. Are we sure I can't check behind that door? Or behind the curtain behind the door? So I think this is Andreas. Do I still just do my regular Andreas voice, which was just me, Klaus?
I'm sorry, Klaus. About everything. You're here.
Let's do it. I've been trying to keep Magdalene safe. I've been trying to figure it out this whole time. After the fire, it's all I could think about. That and them. They've never left me. They're still all there, all in the dance of death. The Baron, Piero, Guy, Ferenc, Peter, Otto, August. Who's August? Do we know who August is? Oh, that's his son, wasn't it? Right. And now you. Dad? Oh, okay, so I've got to do different voices for them now. I've got two me's in the room. Oh god, it's you. Who are you? What are you doing to my father?
Magdalene, it's all right. It's all right. I'm sorry. I've forgotten my manners after all these years. And you've likely forgotten my face, or what it once was. Magdalene, this is Andreas Moller. Back from the dead.
See, the thing is, Magdalene's smart enough, she's sharp enough that even with this shock, even with, like, WTF, she's gonna be smart enough to know that if this guy wanted to kill her father, it would have been done before she got back with the soup. The earliest memory I have of you is running into a burning library.
I'm sorry.
I don't understand. No one could have survived that.
Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. I don't understand, Andreas. Where have you been all these years? Hiding from the world. In the ruins, mostly. Sometimes in the woods when it was warm. Stealing bread from Gret, stealing books from you. Oh, so I wasn't going crazy. It's the only thing that's kept my mind from forgetting what words are.
Wait, how did you survive the fire? He's really not answering this question, is he?
With some difficulty. I grabbed as many books as I could, and I threw them into the scriptorium.
I wrapped myself in paper. The fire got very confused.
When the smoke got too thick, I started to black out. The next thing I remember was Caspar pulling me into the crypt.
Really? Wow, so that explains what happened to Caspar after the fire. Fox says he wanted to save the One Punch Man books.
Your apprentice, the boy? You sent him back to Salzburg. He didn't leave. He waited in the woods and watched what was happening. When he saw me in the window of the library, he ran through the crypt to save me. And he did. But he saw that I was trying to save the books, and he went back in. I couldn't stop him. I was barely conscious. He never came back out, Klaus. When I woke up, everyone was dead or gone. I couldn't face any of you. I couldn't go back to Sabine, that empty house. So I hid.
Let's go with this. We were there. You painted over the Dance of Death in the Abbey and did a rotten job of it.
Turns out I had a reason to keep painting. I'm sorry if I scared you. No one's come into the Abbey for years. I thought I was safe there. I was afraid to talk to you, afraid to talk to anyone.
Yes! I like this response about the purple writing because it puts in front of him, what's up? Did you leave us those notes, the ones with the purple writing?
No. Those were written by a different occult hand. One that does not want you to finish your mural. One that has killed and may kill again to stop you from telling Tassie's history.
Tassing's history? Why?
Because Tassing's real history is at odds with the story we've all been told. It's been covered, bit by bit, layer by layer, until it could no longer be seen. But it's still here. It's always been here, hidden beneath our feet. And it's still protected, haunted by the specter of death that has hung over this place for generations. The Thread Puller.
Thread puller? Beneath our feet? What are you talking about?
The person who attacked your father is the same person who manipulated someone into killing Otto Zimmerman. And Lorenz Rothvogel. Yes, and they travel through the Roman aqueduct that connects Tassing and Curacao. It's a network of tunnels I've become quite familiar with, and I've seen the ghost that haunts them.
That can squeeze? Okay, that makes somewhat more sense than car.
That can squeeze to the tiniest opening. I've seen it bend itself in half to reach places I could never follow. I've traveled along every inch of the aqueduct in the old city.
Wow, it is the word city.
And the old city, but there's one place I've never found. That lair where the thread puller retreats to. The ancient Roman temple that is determined to hide from view.
The Mithraeum. You found it. I was gonna say Mithraeum. She actually beat me to it.
No, but I mapped out a darkness between the collapsed tunnels, and I believe I know how to get there. Come with me, I'll show you.
Is she small enough to do it, or do we need, like other Andreas, younger Andreas? How about we just check with Klaus? Because, like, I know this dude's on the level, but what does she know? This man probably smells of sewer. Like, we're gonna go, Dad?
He's a good man, Magdalene. You'll be safe with him.
Will you be alright?
Yes, I'll be fine. Protect my daughter, Andreas. With my life, Klaus, I promise.
Alright, let's find the Mithraeum. This is somehow less weird and stupid than I was expecting. Like, I was talking last episode, and Fox was like, you know, do you think that Andreas is still kicking? I was like, it had occurred to me, but it would feel like such a weird twist that he decided to run away from his life. But Andreas was already super miserable, and knowing that Caspar, the thing that I hadn't accounted for is that Caspar would have been the one to save him and then died trying to impress him. That, like, for some reason, well, no, for a very specific reason, I feel like that crosses the line into, like, what would make someone who was miserable, as Andreas was, and make them cross over the line to, like, just not faking his own death, but just allowing their death to be faked and just be like, screw it. Until I can find the truth of this, until I can have some reason that I've survived, some way to, like, make it worth it, I'm just gonna live in this, like, dust hovel. It, in a weird way, does make sense in a way that I wasn't thinking from last episode. The rat house, what are we doing here?
When the men dug the foundation, they found Roman ruins that had been buried over time. Lucky never wasted stone, so he used the Roman wall as one of the cellars. There's a way inside to the hidden place.
Are you alright?
Yes?
All right, into the Rothskeller. Oh, should this be Rotskeller? Is it Rat Cellar? Jelly Buns is praying, please, coffee gods, and regular god, I guess, please let this coffee wake me up and be able to pay attention. I concur. Coffee gods, caffeinator, please bring Jelly Buns wakefulness and caffeine goodness. Oh, I'll just kick through this with my moccasin. Alright, that wall is different. Does that mean this is the place?
No, it's two-sided. Old, new and old. This was above ground once. It carried water. Look.
All right, I think I can make it out. Sorry, I know that Andreas means her no harm, but just like, hey, lean in close and take a look at this wall while he's grabbing a pickaxe just instinctively makes me nervous. So then there's some Latin there. Cornelius today in 6 Mithraeum.
Cornelius goes to the baths today and completes the 6th rank in the Mithraeum. You see?
No, I most certainly do not see Andreas.
Well, here.
A warning would be nice.
Oh, sorry. I'm not used to being around people. This is the aqueduct.
Uh-huh. And?
It'll take us to the baths, and then to the Mithraeum.
Alright. How about after you, Andres? Why do I have to go first? Mr. Pickaxe? You can hold this lantern. After you. This is your plan. One of the completely random things that now I'm thinking of is that moment in Young Frankenstein when Igor goes, "Walk like this." Or no, walk this way. Walk this way. And he does that thing with the cane. Hello to Patikin and Innertooth and Maxine, all of whom are raiding over. Angel found the bathhouse. Indeed I did. Oh my god. I didn't even realize that was what was on the screen. Hello to Patikin. This way, this way. Moo. Hello to Moo. Moo. Oh, Moo. I think one of the stream tags is to remind me to tell you. So we did look at extending mod status. Is there a limit on the number of mods? Because it's grayed out. We went to add it and can't. I don't know if that's a function of subs or followers or viewers or chatters or what, but we did look into it. Lady B is saying bedtime in Casa Borlak. Catch you all soon. Lady B, thank you so much for being here. Mia is doing a shout out for Patikin. There isn't a limit. So why is it grayed out? I didn't think there was a limit. It's and Moo, it's not just for you, it's grayed out. We can't add any mods at all. So anyway, can we also do a quick shout out for Lady B if we haven't, Patikin, you could do one. I'd like to make sure that, and thank you for doing one for Innertooth. Lady B is doing a charity event coming up on May 6th. It's the Darkness into Light charity marathon where it's going to go all night long and they do a camera faced out to catch the sunrise. It's so cool. It's such a great event. And that is coming up in just a couple of weeks and I want to make sure that people know about it. So I can go into the bathhouse just as Patikin said. This part of the tunnel has collapsed. We're not getting into the Mithraeum this way.
I think... Yes, Caspar and I found a collapsed section of the aqueduct near town. We didn't find out what was on the other side. I wouldn't let him explore it. I should have taken more care with him.
I'm just gonna say nothing.
I'm sorry. We can go.
Mia's gonna look into it. Yeah, like, and I didn't check the other roles, but I tried it on this computer, and then we tried it on a different computer just to make sure, because again, Twitch gets somewhat weird. And, like, that role and only that role is grayed out. Okay. See, now we know that we don't have to come back in here.
Decoration. These must have been the baths.
Doesn't look like there's a way through.
Silt. All the floods kept carrying it down here. Hundreds of years of floods. What if we can't get through? What if it's buried forever?
It's too early to get this discouraged. Let's keep looking. Okay, and we can go down there. Let me just... Sorry, I just want to double check over here, and no. I know that we looked at that, it just sometimes you get new interactions. More stairs down? Would it something be below the baths?
A hippocause. They use warm air to heat the rooms above. Roman colonies in the north often had them.
Let's hope they haven't filled with silt as well. Did you try removing as VIP and then check the mod thingy? I might have to... We'll try that afterwards, Patikin, because that's a good thought. I believe I had to do that for you when I added you. So you're either a VIP or a mod then? Is that how it works? Because, like, when we modded Patikin, I didn't think that we had to do that. Or Drienne, but anyway, we'll definitely look into that. Maxine's saying that might be it, because you can't be a VIP and a mod at the same time. You can't be both, says Patikin. Okay. That's very good to know. Do you know where we're going? These pillars just kind of go on in all directions. Andreas, could you look that way? I think I'm going to try exploring ahead. Okay, but he doesn't have a lantern. Oh, I'm Andreas now. Okay. Did Lorenz have a voice? How could you abandon your work, Andreas? I thought you were... Oh, no, I missed it! A true artist. Shoot, I missed it. Darn it! Okay, I gotta be faster in the draw.
The only thing more pitiful than watching you work in the scriptorium was your love of that dying art.
An eye for an eye, Andreas. You may have condemned me, but in doing so, you damned yourself as well. That's right, I still sound like this when I'm a ghost.
Master, why did you send me into the flames? Okay, I'm just gonna go into the hookah room, I guess.
No, this isn't right. I can't be here right now. How did I get here?
Andreas. You're still here. So if anybody missed the previous episodes, this is like Andreas's mind palace or mind stage. It used to have Socrates and Beatrice and Lord Grobin, I think it was. But now Melancholia lives here, and apparently Big Jester Man, he's a new addition. Yes, for a little longer.
I thought I had gone mad.
Not yet. Not entirely. But you have been on this road for a long, long time. You must leave this place forever, Andreas. You must abandon it for good.
But how? What can I do? I don't even know how I got here.
This was once a place of refuge for you, Andreas. But it has become a prison you constructed to protect yourself.
From what?
From pain, from risk, from life itself. Was it Jody K or Harmonious Crow? Somebody pointed out that, like, this is a depiction of, like,
like a bound angel and that thing on her back, or like her like tied up wings and stuff. I wanted to look that up before like continuing, but then I forgot. Stream was good. Not sure if you asked when I rated over. If not, here's my answer anyway. Yeah, Patin, you said that you were really enjoying Ragnarok. I'm really glad for it. Yeah, thank you for letting me know, and thank you again very much for the raid.
But I can't stay here. I have to help Magdalene. How do I get out?
Andreas, you are the architect. I will help you as best I can, but you are the only one who can answer that. Oh, goodbye then. Oh, I've got to find my way out of the maze. So I guess I mostly just pick a direction, but if I go right, I can't do anything. If I go up, I can't do anything. If I go... Yeah, this way, it looks like. What? Oh, sorry, I was in the empty spaces. Hold on. So I have to go on the white spaces. I was thinking about the directions between. So... Hello, Andreas.
Is that you, Sabine?
Yes, of course. I'm still here. Part of me will always be here with you. We haven't talked in so long. Why? You reminded me of August. Again, August was their child that didn't make it. Patine says he can't wait for my playthrough of Ragnarok. Yeah, it'll probably be a little bit, but I'm very much looking forward to it. It got very, very good marks.
Remind me.
It wasn't all bad, Andreas. We lost him, but we had 4 years together. They were happy years, weren't they? It's hard to remember.
This great black pain blots out all the joy.
I know. It was hard for both of us. I don't blame you for anything. And you should stop blaming yourself. It may be too late for us, but it's not too late for you, Andreas. It's not too late for Magdalene.
Yes, Magdalene. I have to help her.
You can, Andreas, but you have to leave this place behind for good.
I know. I can. I will.
You will.
Thank you, Sabine. Will I ever see you again?
Not in this place. But maybe someday, in a better place. In a better dream. Okay, we're gonna go this way. This way. Here. Master Andreas!
Oh. Caspar. It's really you.
It's so good to see you again, Master.
How can you say that? You died.
Like, I'm just saying, he didn't die. He died because he wouldn't listen to Andreas. Andreas wouldn't have told him to go in there. Andreas told him to leave the place. I know that Andreas feels responsible. I really do. I really do understand that. But you sort of want to shake him and say, you can't be responsible for the decisions of other people. And yeah, I know that Andreas, like, assumed responsibility for him. Like, I'm not arguing that Andreas shouldn't feel the way that he feels. I'm arguing that despite the way that he feels the way that he feels, Caspar was impulsive and reckless in ways, and he wanted so hard to impress Andreas that even when Andreas specifically told him not to do that, he would still do it. So, sorry, I'm gonna keep going. Wait, what was Moo saying? Gotta go take the kid to an appointment. Not sure if I'll be back or not. Biggest Bug's 14th birthday today, though we're not really celebrating till the weekend. Moo, it mustn't, like, be very valuable coming from an internet stranger, but at least so that you know. Happy birthday to Biggest Bug. Happy 14th. I hope that there's a wonderful birthday in store and just all around good and happy times for the family. And also, Innertooth is reminding Moo that there are anti-bug sprays. Anyway,
You died because of me.
I just wanted to help you, Master Andreas. You couldn't think straight.
You shouldn't blame yourself anymore.
I let my family down. I let you down. I couldn't stop Peter. I couldn't save Tassing. I couldn't even save more than a couple armfuls of books.
You did what you could, Master. Everyone knows you did. And that's all any of us can do.
All right, Caspar. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you taught me.
Wait, what happened? This was the way out. Before I started talking to Caspar, I know this was the way out.
Oh, look, it's Beatrice. We haven't seen her in a million years. Actually, probably like 20 years. And Moo, thank you very much for the lurk as well. Your mind is fighting itself, Andreas. It remembers the pain of life. It's trying to protect you from it.
Beatrice?
Yes?
I thought you were gone.
You brought me back.
Oh. So, what do I do now?
Keep going. Okay, so we gotta go back. We'll go the long way, just in case. Alright, So, actually, this looks like the way out now. Oh, man, August... August is really sad.
You too? It's been so many nights, so many years without seeing your face. I thought I had forgotten it.
I knew you were still here, though.
Quietly waiting for me. I can't change the past, can't cover it up. It's always there under the surface, no matter how I try to bury it. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
It's all right.
What?
It's all right, Daddy.
It is?
You don't have to hide here anymore. For anybody that hasn't been, like, paying rapt attention, August has never spoken. He's only ever done the ... Like, Andreas couldn't remember his voice, or I think somewhat more likely might have left before. Like, he spent a lot of time away, and maybe August passed away between learning words. It's a little bit vague on the timeline, but August has never spoken in these dream sequences. So the impact here is that now he's not only speaking, but absolving Andreas of his guilt. I feel like Andreas might keep it simple. Like, I'm scared, August. I know. But that's why you can't stay. There are people who need you.
It's so hard to let you go.
I know, Daddy. But you have to.
I know. You're right. Thank you.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too. Good night, August.
Good night.
They shifted again, the walls.
It's still trying to protect you.
No!
It's not?
No, I mean, no, I don't have to do this. This is my mind, my maze, and I'm leaving.
Good. But this next part might be confusing.
What? I don't understand. I don't understand any of this.
Did I make this? Did I make this? You borrowed it.
From where?
From what? It's from the lady in the church. I think it's the Mother Mary, Virgin Mary. She's holding one of these, right? There are layers to everything, even to our memories. Over time, the foundations become buried. We can no longer recall how we got here, no longer recall what came before.
And what came before?
Our Lady watching over the labyrinth as I watch over you. And even this has roots that reach deep into the past. There was not always a lady to watch over the labyrinth, but there was a labyrinth.
What? I don't understand.
Yeah, you and me both? What the fuck?
Sister Amelie? Is this real? Am I still in my mind?
You are here with me, and we are here in spirit.
You looked like Beatrice a moment ago.
Beatrice? I don't know her. She probably hasn't hung out in the crypt with me. We are in the tabernacle, the heart of the labyrinth. I'm actually going to look at this because I don't know what that means. Holds the holy host in a locked and secured box between services of the Eucharist, God's holy place. Your spirit was wandering and the Lord brought you here.
But I don't understand. How did you leave your cell?
I have not. We are only here in spirit, Andreas.
Is this real? Am I finally experiencing that which I've only read about in the testimony of mystics?
I told you long ago that reading cannot communicate a spiritual experience. But yes, this is real, and you need not be afraid. Have faith. If you are here with me, it is the Lord's will. Andreas? Sister Amelie? What are you doing here, sister? This is the center of the labyrinth, the tabernacle. It is where God, the Lord, sends my spirits to do his will. He has also guided your spirits here. There must be a purpose to it. Again, she's a hardcore empiricist, so she's gonna be like, no, I just walked here. You are confused, Magdalene. It's understandable. My own visions have perplexed me for all of my life. Even though this seems starge, even though it is a place of spirit, it is very real. The Lord has called me to this place for many years. He has always made his will known to me. Soon he will make it known to you.
Sister, how does your spirit come to this place?
Through the door between life and death. Or a literal door. I'm really waiting for, like... When my spirit hears the call, it descends through my grave. Here, the Lord tells me what messages I must... Lord tells me what messages I must bear, and to whom. No, like I said, she sleeps in her grave. Like, or at least she showed us the pit at one point. We didn't see to the bottom. Anyway, how? It was almost impossible for us to reach this place. I used to think my affliction, my pain, was a curse. I know now that it was a gift from God. A gift that allows me to bend my body as I bend my soul to his will. There is no place in Tassing or Kearsau that he cannot reach through me.
Wait.
I thought I had given up the... pen? Pen forever. Like pen like in writing, I guess. I don't know. Given up the pen forever. Until the visions returned. Holy shit! Of all of the possible things, this is not what I would have expected.
No!
When fire took my abbey, I couldn't save my sisters. Not one. All I could grab was a single book and a bolt of cloth. I couldn't understand why God had spared me alone, but he showed me. God had a higher purpose for me, for my hand. Father Thomas explained it to me. He makes everything clear. He tells me what I must do, what the Lord wills me to do.
It was you, this whole time. You wrote the notes.
I found one by my dad when he was attacked.
Sister Amelie, you pushed those people into committing murder.
What? No. No, that can't be true. The Lord would not use me for such a purpose. So I don't think it was her own. Based on what she's saying, I think it's Father Thomas. I think Father Thomas has been manipulating Sister Amelie into writing the notes that he then delivers. Does anything else make sense? Because, well, then again, she said that she can sort of contort her body. Is it possible that Father Thomas is unaware of all of this? I don't know. But she definitely wrote the notes. And people were murdered because of them. No, I wouldn't. He wouldn't. There was nothing in his messages about murder. No, no, no. I am not here. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. I'm not going to scream into the microphone. Ugh. Oh no, he's here. Bash that man into the wall.
Sister Amelie, shh, it's all right.
Father Thomas, how did you get down here?
Tassing is an old place. It's buried many ancient roads and tunnels over the centuries. People walk above the hidden ways every day without even knowing it. Though in truth, it was Sister Amelie who rediscovered them first and found this place.
Father Thomas, did you?
In other circumstances, I would be overjoyed to see you, Andreas. In truth, I am still happy you are alive, thank God. But I think the occasion of this reunion leaves little to rejoice about.
You and Sister Amelie were behind all of the murders.
You're half right. She had no part in this. But the notes, she wrote them. She did, but she did not understand their purpose.
I need a different voice for this guy.
I guided her. I told her what to write.
You abused her love and her trust for your own purposes.
He who wishes to follow the Lord's way must regard neither cost nor shame, nor pain. He must stand to everything, even her most terrible commands. I am ashamed to admit it, but yes, I did.
To what end? What was the point of all of this?
Look around you. What do you see?
Roman ruins.
Look closer. It looks like the statue of St. Moritz from the meadow.
And the images of St. Satya from the shrine. I don't understand.
It's St. Moritz and St. Satya, and Mars and Diana.
The saints are gods?
When the Romans left Tassing, their buildings, their temples, their statues remained. Christians settled here centuries later. They found time-worn fragments of that imperial grasp. This statue of Mars, Pater, that once watched over the Roman fields, stood there still, headless and nameless. The settlers believed it was St. Moritz, who was already a legend when they had come from.
Oh, that's the head! That's the head that Otto found. Maxine has to go to sleep. Jellybun's asking, contort her body? Does she have, like, EDS or something? She said she hurt all the time. I think that her hurt is her mind. That she from what we've been able to pick up, my best guess is that she has a form of schizophrenia, where she hears voices and sees visions, and then Father Thomas here has been interpreting them. But from what she said, if I was to read what she said earlier literally, she might be able to navigate through parts of these ruins that other people can't get to.
The settlers believed it was St. Moritz, who was already a legend when where they had come from. They found the shrine to Satya, and not understanding she was an aspect of Diana, believed she was another local saint.
So the people turned them into saints.
Sanctity and sainthood exist outside of what people believe, Magdalene. People cannot turn someone into a saint any more than they can unmake the divinity of Christ. But they knew of the saints and learned local legends of the reunion and applied them to the figures they found here. No one knew they were Roman gods because there was no account of what the Romans did and left here, except for the Historia Taciae. But Historia Taciae was not known then. Perhaps it has not even been written then. Who knows how long that book had been lost before it made its way to Father Matthias? And you killed him for it. Yes, with poison. No one suspected. He died of poison and no one suspected? It must have been quite subtle. His death was unexpected, but I was the only person he confided in about what he had read in Historia Taciae. When Father Matthias learned that there was no evidence that St. Moritz had ever come to Tassing, that shrine to him in the meadow was a statue of Mars that the Romans had erected hundreds of years ago, that St. Satia was the Roman goddess Diana, he resolved to deal with it. And you resolved to deal with him.
Grr! Andreas, you can't keep striking your battle pose and then listening to another 15 minutes of dialogue.
Andreas, our people believe in St. Moritz. They believe in the miracles God has worked through his hand. And they believe in the legend of St. Satia, that she helped Moritz and watches over Tassing still.
And that was worth killing the abbot?
I believed it was then, yes. If St. Moritz never came to Tassing,
what is in the reliquary?
what are the pilgrims coming to see?
What does it mean for the people who prayed to him, to St. Satia, and believed their prayers were answered? What does it mean for the church that has given people hope, fixed like a false star in the dark sky? If the people have reason to doubt the validity of the saints, can they doubt the church? Can they doubt the gospel, the word of God? But you've always told us that we have to accept Christ of our own free will. But he doesn't believe that, obviously, and never has. Like Magdalene could say this, but I'm going to go with Magdalene's a smart enough cookie to realize this dude's full of crap, and he always has been. As soon as you need to lie in order to tell people, let me try that again. As soon as you need to tell lies because you believe that that's the way to lead people to the truth, you're done. Like, you're completely lost. So you have so little faith in ordinary people, Father Thomas, up to and including faith that people would figure it out.
I have faith in God. And I have seen firsthand what can happen when people become disconnected from our God. When people believe that all just authority is false, that their own education and reason are superior to divine truth. You've always told us that we have to accept Christ with our own free will. Yes, of course, but preserving the legends of our saints doesn't interfere with individual volition. You're preserving a lie. I preserved a lie to illuminate a greater truth.
What did we just say? Sorry. It's just so full of shit. Like, he's so full of it. What does it matter this guy needs therapy? Who boy, when people say God and they just mean the church. Yeah, exactly.
God so loved the world that he gave his only son. If you believe this, if you truly believe this, eternal life is yours. And saints have walked among us, and their relics work miracles, and they hear our prayers and answer them. And the two that protect this town were never here. They don't need to know that, Andreas! ... There are times when God, feels so far away from us in these mountains. But a peasant in Tassing can stand in a field, look over a valley, and say, Saint Moritz was here. It's going to take us in. God was with us, and he is with us still, and he will be with us always. And that is the truth, even if the legend of Saint Moritz is a lie.
So many people have died because of what you've done.
I know this is hard to believe, but I was trying to save lives, to prevent death. But one murder didn't solve the problem, did it? Because one day Baron Rothvogel dove into town with another copy of Historia Tassiae, a copy he promised to give to the abbot so Kirsau could come to terms with its past. And if Father Gernot read its contents, you would be facing the same danger you saw in Father Matthias. In retrospect,
I've got to do something different. Because they're too similar, and I'm bad with voices. Father Thomas suddenly says, in retrospect, given how Father Gernot chose to run the abbey, my fears may have been unfounded. That sentiment didn't prevent you from doing it again.
You're right, it didn't. But then why Otto? Certainly he didn't have anything to do with Historia Tassiae. He couldn't even read. In the end, his murder provoked Peter and the others into destroying the abbey. I never thought that would happen. I underestimated Peter's anger and the peasants' frustration.
Let's just cut to it. You're very bad at your work, Father Thomas.
It appears that way, yes. I was trying to prevent Otto from showing people what he had found. What he had found when he was helping to dig the foundation of the Rathaus.
Well, the foundation would have taken him down to the wall of the aqueduct, right? And that carving. But the thing is, Otto literally found the head. Remember when he said, I found the head of St. Moritz? Something from our pagan ancestors.
No, not quite so old. What he found was a stone head.
Oh, right, because the Romans weren't pagans. I went too far back.
The missing head of the statue in the meadow. The statue at the shrine of St. Moritz.
How did it wind up over there?
The most likely culprits are the rain, floods, and time. Or Bart Simpson, he's always stealing statue heads.
Blacktail told me that the farmers find old tools and pottery in the fields every year.
Yes, and this head remained hidden for centuries. It sat in the soil until Otto found it. And he was going to show everyone that God had favored the town with his discovery. What Otto could not know is that our shrine statue is not of St. Moritz. Because Otto could not read the words chiseled across the helmet. Mars Pater. But the man he entrusted with this information, the town priest, could. Yes. And you told him to meet you on St. John's Eve at the Rat House. I could not let him destroy our town's beliefs. And you had poor Sister Amelie write down what you told her were visions she couldn't remember, and deliver them in the dead of night to Guy, to Hannah, to Martin, and that one of them would murder Otto just as someone murdered Lorenz.
What about my father?
Oh, I'm sorry, Magdalene.
Hold on, does it make any sense? Let's think about what we know, because she has a quick mind. We know that he was going to paint the mural. Does Klaus have enough information to have known what all of this was about? Why did you do it? I don't think that it does make any sense. Like, it seems to me that the fear, and maybe it's just paranoia, he thought that somehow this was all going to make it into the mural, and then everybody would know, because obviously if it's painted into a mural, it must be true. But does he have any reason to think that Klaus had somehow pieced all of this together in the 18 years since everything went down? Was it because of the mural?
Yes.
Klaus pursued the project with the determination of a guilty man doing penance. He kept digging and digging for answers about Tessing's past, Kirsau's past. I was afraid that sooner or later he would find out about Moritz, Satia. This place, everything.
So you tried to kill him? No, I'm not going to remain silent. No, I tried to scare him by smashing his head into the table. First with a note, but he ignored it. I thought if I ransacked the workshop, it would scare him off. I didn't expect him to come down so quickly. It was just an accident. Say nothing. Now I will say nothing because, like, he knows he almost killed him. In fact, what he might not know, what I suspect he does know, is that he did kill him. It just took a little bit of time. So what are you gonna do now? Kill me? Kill Magdalene? No, of course not. I have neither the means nor the will to do so. But even if I can't stop you from telling people what I've done, I can stop them from finding this place. Why are we not further restraining him? Does he smell? Like, Andreas, just grab him. You seem to be in better shape, honestly. I don't know, maybe he's just been eating vermin for 18 years. I know what he's doing, stop it. It's too late for me, but I can still take Tessing's secrets with me. Father, you're gonna kill us all. You're gonna kill Amelie. Good work, Andreas. Just hang out there for a minute. Then leave, and take her with you. You can tell the townsfolk what you want, but if you stay here, we'll die together. You can't stop... kill yourself and destroy the church just to hide this secret. I think obviously he would. You can't stop people from learning the truth. Maybe, but I have to try. Okay, time to go. If we're not gonna stop this, we need to grab that woman. Father! Go! Oh, suddenly Andreas finds the strength to take some sort of action. I'll just leave this here. Are you alright? How is Sister Amelie? She's still out, but I think she's fine. They must have heard that at the Golden Hand. The entire church collapsing? Yeah, I'd hope so. What are we gonna tell them? What do you mean? About this. About everything. Why wouldn't we just tell them the truth? For the same people Father Thomas hid it. Where's the option that says, yo, Andreas, did you take a stone to the head? What did you spend? Okay. Andreas has been through a lot. I really can see this from his perspective. In our version of the story, Andreas spent his entire life in Tassing trying to get to the truth and to show people what really happened, and everything went wrong. So it actually does make sense to me that in this moment now, the lesson that he might have learned is maybe that's not worth doing. Maybe I shouldn't be leading to the truth because maybe people are happier deluding themselves and living quiet, happy lives rather than letting the truth incite them. That is a reasonable thing. Like, I don't agree with it, but it's the sort of thing that a person might come to given his history. However, I don't think that our Andreas, like, he might have his doubts about that, but I'm just letting you know, no, we're not going to go out there and start lying to people. And Magdalene sure as shit isn't, because, like, this is all kind of like a bunch of old people arguing about what happened in the Star Wars trilogy, and she's over here watching, like, I don't know, what the hell do kids like today? I have literally no idea what kids like today, but they don't care about Star Wars, and so she's over here being like, no, we're just going to tell everybody what happened, because I also fight for truth, and I haven't had your traumatic backstory, sir. TikTok. Whatever people like. What do people 15 and younger argue about? I have no idea.
Jelly Buns is saying that's the problem, to focus on afterlife and not on life. Underestimated Peter's anger. So the Fox McCloud. Have you met him? I'd give the truth and let everybody else sort it out. Yeah, that's the best you can do. That's the best you can do. In life, you can't. This is generally the way that I tend to lead my life. You can't account for what people are going to do with the facts once they're in front of them. What you can do is provide them the facts and allow them to process it in their own way. There are exceptions that we've talked about. Usually they come up organically through the course of a game, but there's been times when I've chosen in a game like these not to share with somebody a damaging truth about their deceased loved one that, in my view, serves absolutely no purpose. Hey, did you know that your dead husband cheated on you 15 years ago and had a child with that woman and was like feeding her money because he felt so guilty and you never knew about it? Like, just that seems like it only brings pain. Like there's nothing to do. It's not a great example because the kid in that is hypothetically still alive. But like, just trying to think of like a hypothetical about that where it's like, you don't need to destroy somebody's good memory of a cherished loved one just to say, oh, by the way, they were no angel. Like, there are limitations to it. But in a case like this, where like this history means so much to people, we're going to tell them what's true. And then if as a result, they don't believe in God or Christ or whoever, and then they believe in these Roman gods more, maybe it's just my personal outlook, but I don't give a shit at all what higher power they aspire to. I've said this before. If people view religion as a vector to teach them personally how they can live their best life, how they can offer forgiveness and compassion and care about their fellow man, if religion can find a way to either educate people towards living a good life that is good for them and for the benefit of others, or, in a pinch, provide them an excuse to do the right thing because they want to gamble their way, barter their way into a better afterlife, so they just wind up living a good life out of sheer selfishness, fine. That's all fine. But from that point, which specific higher power is like the one that they're following to just treat people decently and live their own life and not judge people and not like get all up in their faces about stuff? I don't care at all. I'd like, just be a good person, be decent to other people. And whether you're religious or not, or what religion you are versus any other, just like do your own thing, and it's fine, and we can just like all be happy with that. So that's just my thoughts on it. So like, yeah, if we go upstairs and say, okay, guys, everyone, like, you haven't been praying to Saint Moritz, you've been praying to Mars, and not Satya, but the other one. Oh, Diana. Not to Satya, but Diana. Everything is still the same, but just like update your notes on what name you say. Who the hell cares? I don't. Maybe they do, and if they do, that's on them. But I don't care, so I'm just going to tell them what's true. Sorry, I need to actually make a decision. I'm just like talking this through. Please explain your thinking, because I'm legitimately curious what he's going to say.
I'm just not sure it makes sense. What good will it do to tell everyone about St. Moritz and St. Satya? Maybe Father Thomas was right about that, if nothing else. Maybe it would break their faith.
I think he's wrong to hear. I think people here have enough faith to hear the truth. I suppose that people here have had enough. No. I think that people here have enough faith to hear the truth.
You know them better than I do. Especially since I've been away for so long.
I thought understanding this would feel better. The stream hasn't crashed. I'm trying to think of in any way that this feels bad. We found the guy that did it. He died. He didn't die by our hand. The church collapsed. This really feels like everybody won. You came back after all of this time to solve this, but... Well, I guess she didn't. Sorry. The lady lying on the cold stone floor passed out, probably in the grips of some sort of, like, schizophrenic delusion or dying of malnutrition or who knows. Like, she didn't come out of this okay, but it's hard to feel like we actually accomplished anything. Are we better off than we were this morning? Father Thomas won't be able to hurt anyone else. Maybe he never would have. I don't know, I kind of feel like past his prologue, he spent his entire adult life hurting people. I think you're right. We should tell them. About the saints, the Romans, all of it. No, well, we're gonna do the right thing. Why does it feel awful? Why is she so... Well, I guess she was raised more religious than I am. Like, she's discovering that some of the saints that were important to her aren't real. So I guess she's got to feel some sort of way about that. I'm sorry. I am too, but I still think it's what we need to do. Then we'll tell them. Good. We should get Sister Amelie someplace warm. We can take her to my house. Sorry, I can't help but feel like now we'll have two people that are, like, crossing the river Styx, both in her house. You'll probably have some explaining to do. A lot, I think. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad you didn't die in that fire. I am too. I think. Let's just head back. Merry Christmas, Andreas. No, let's just head back. Lead the way. Dougler is saying... Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Because Jellybuns is saying, if it's all the same, what does it matter what name they say? That's... And, like, I'm not... What I'm not saying here is just, like... You know, Christianity is the same as Buddhism, is the same as Catholicism, is the same as Judaism, is the same as Zoroastrianism. Like, the different religions do, like, they have different tenets. Like what I'm saying is that there's different things that are important to people. And I would never say to somebody who chooses to, like, pray on a rug 5 times a day, oh, that's no big deal. Nor would I say to somebody who chooses not to eat pork, oh, that's no big deal. It's all the same. No. What I am saying is that, like, when you have so many different religions that have sprung up all around the world, all throughout human history, that generally teach the same basic tenets of just living a good life, I personally take from that the lesson is live a good life. Maybe the more specific things that individual religions believe by the millions and millions of people, maybe that's not the things that should divide us, and maybe instead we should be united by the thing that all of the religions have in common, that basically treat each other decently, live your own life, worry about yourself, don't spend all of your time trying to judge other people, and don't look at the particulars of their religious observances just because they're different as being lesser or odd or worthy of judgment. Maybe just focus on the goals that they're striving for, which are fundamentally the same as what most other religions are striving for. Like, it just makes sense to me. I don't know. So anyway, it's supposed to be Catholicism, right? That's just Christianity with pagan flavor text, says Jellybuns. You mean bland, unhappy taste? Oh, wait. Douglas saying Angel. It would be like discovering Mia just like pineapple on her pizza when she thought she had taste. Hey, I like pineapple on pizza. I don't order... Here's my thing about pineapple on pizza. I don't order it, but if it's on the table, I'll eat it. And by contrast, like spinach pizza, if you're at a party and you want me to not eat your pizza, put spinach and cauliflower on it, and I guarantee you it will go untouched. Douglas saying just pineapple? I like pineapple and bacon. I think that is probably like a better combination. Jelly Buns is saying the core beliefs are pretty much the same. Don't hurt people. Tell the truth. Honor the celestial being that probably created you. Honor your parents. Take good care of your kids. You know, there's like, you don't have to look very deeply into religion to see that a lot of them are sort of focused around the same general tenets of be excellent to each other. And I don't want to keep going on about this. It's just, it's remarkable to me that when people get caught up in the trappings, like what robes people wear, what head, you know, what they might have on their head, whether or not they light a candle or carry an incense burner, or, you know, are holding a, like a Bible or a Quran or a, I'm really blanking on this right now, a Torah? Am I saying the right thing? The point is, no, it's just a different Bible, isn't it? The Old Testament, that's what I'm thinking of. The point is, it's cool. Like, if all religions lead to the same basic endpoint, how we get there, does it matter? I don't know. I'm not opening this up for like, now let's have a big argument about it. I'm literally saying, let's not have a big argument about it. And let's continue with the game also.
Oh, Magdalene, you made it back.
Andreas and Sister Amelie and I all made it back.
Sister Amelie? Was she in the church? I heard a terrible din in the house truck. Is everything all right?
Sorry, I like it when Magdalene is a little bit funny. Our neighbors probably think that world is ending, so it could be better. Are you all right, Dad?
Yes, I'm sorry. Just tired. Sit by me. Tell me what happened.
This is a rhetorical question. Did Sister Gertrude, or remember the lady at like the bakery or whoever, we visited them in the last episode, did they ever come and give him like their treatments? Because like I talked to them and they were like, oh yeah, I'll stop by and do something, but I don't know if it happened. It never came up again. I'm pressing A. It started in the rat house. Well, the rat skeller. Andreas found an old Roman message there that pointed to the Mithraeum. Well, I feel like this is also interesting backstory. It was part of the old Roman aqueduct.
Dot.
So we went into the aqueduct. The section we found must have been closed off for centuries. We found an old Roman bathhouse. I cannot tell you how much I love that Patikin came in when I found the bathhouse. That was very funny, Patikin. We couldn't go through, so we found our way down to a level under the baths. I think Andreas said it was a hippocaust. Or hypocaust, I don't know how it's pronounced. I got separated from Andreas. I was really afraid I'd lost him, that we'd both gotten lost down there. But then I heard his voice off in the distance, and I was so relieved. Oh, shit. Dad? Are you still listening? I know it's hard. I mean, I can only imagine how hard it is. But we will all do our best to make you feel welcome when you get here. It's strange to think that this will probably be the last letter I send to you. So I will end it with my love. Esther. I don't have a voice for Naziu. I'm so sorry.
Magdalene?
I don't know. I can't... Even if I were capable of an Italian accent, which I'm not, it would be one of those that I'd really be worried that it would come across as offensive when it wouldn't be my goal. But I don't have one, so...
Magdalene?
Yes?
I'm sorry to disturb you, but I wanted to let you know that everything is in order. Baltus has ensured that all of the financial matters will be handled. The money will be forwarded to you via the Reichspost as soon as everything is settled.
Wait, did we sell? We sold? I appreciate it. Please thank him for me.
And don't let him forget his commission for the work. As a representative of his bank, it would be remiss of me to do so. I did not know your father well, but I know that he was well regarded by everyone who spoke of him. It seems that Tassing has lost many things in one man. I'm very sorry.
Thank you.
Good fortune to you.
Like, we sold the company, or the business, didn't we? Oh, look at that painting. Right, that was on the wall. That's of Klaus, and then that's her mom, and then the little kid... That's not her, though, is it? Wasn't that her brother? I'm trying to remember if that was her brother. I don't remember that kid's name, though. Yeah, no, we can't go upstairs, and we can't go back there. This looks like the shop has been shut down. Are you sure you have everything you need, Magdalene? We'll see. I know I'm ready to go. Well, you can't leave without this. It's chamomile, cinnamon, and wheat flour. If you're traveling and you're having cramps... I know, I'll use it. Well, Hildegard's recipe just called for chamomile and wheat flour. I added the cinnamon for taste. I'm so sorry about what happened to your father. So, like, now I'm gonna be curious. Does chamomile and... Wait, what did she say? Chamomile, cinnamon, and wheat flour. Does that help with cramps? Like, I wouldn't know one way or the other, but is this, like, a thing? Takarosh says, imagine this D&D character, a lizard folk with the Outlander background who was raised by squirrels. Probably good at hopping from branch to branch. And ratting out hunters. Thank you. Mother Francisca had us all say prayers for him. And for you as well, when she heard you were leaving. That is so sweet, because she didn't like me very much. I will. We'll all miss you so much, Magdalene. So many sisters. I'll miss you too. God bless you. Safe travels. Magdalene, I can't believe you're really leaving. You should come visit me. She's not going to. Ha! The farthest I've ever been is Tiny Mittenwald Market. I don't think that's very likely. Alright, I'll take your word for it. Write to us, though. We want to hear all about your new life. So... This is at this moment a completely rhetorical question. Are we leaving because I wouldn't like shack up with Oates? That I basically gave him the cold shoulder a lot. Like, there's a lot of reasons for her to leave, but I had committed earlier in the playthrough that I wanted to stay. I wanted to run the print shop. I wanted to like take on the family business. And the only reason I can think of that that's not happening, because I was pretty consistent about that, is that because she's not getting married, then she like, she can't inherit this house and the business, so she has to go. Patikin has to lurk. Patikin, thank you so much for the lurk. I hope you have a great evening. And thank you again for the raid. Jellybun says, I'm not familiar with wheat flour, but I think cinnamon is anti-inflammatory. Well, apparently that's the part that's not important, according to what Sister Gertrude said. It could also just be something that the writer made up, or something that was read in like an old book, but is apocryphal and doesn't actually do anything. Someday I'll be a real herbalist who knows things, says Jellybuns. I will. I do promise. You're a special girl, Magdalene Druckerin. I understand why you're leaving. God knows you have a good cause, but Tassing won't be the same without you. Safe travels, and God bless you. Before I go over there, because that's clearly where everybody is, nope. Sister Gertrude is being the... What's the name of the Pokemon that falls asleep on the road and you can't get past him? Snorlax. She's blocking the road. We have to go find the flute or whatever. Oh, hey, Mags. Right to the end. You know who I'm not gonna miss out? Yeah, fuck him. Otto. I'm really sorry about your dad. He was always nice to me. My mom says he was a good man. She's right. Well, thanks. I should get going. Mags. Magdalene. You sure you don't want to marry me? Well, I'll tell you what, dude. Like, I'm letting everyone in chat know. Magdalene had this one response earlier that was, marriage should be a business contract for the good of both parties. If this sack of crap had bothered to call her by her name after she asked him to, I think that she could have worked something out with him. I think that he is unobjectionable by the standards of the time. He would have been a good provider for a family, and I think that he would have generally, I believe this to this moment, that he generally would have deferred to her expertise at keeping the books and running the print shop. He would have shut his dumbass mouth and gone to get an apprenticeship working over with Endress or something like that, and the two of them could have made out well together. I honestly believe that. But the fact that he didn't respect her enough to call her by her goddamn name made it a non-starter. I know that that's probably not a big deal with, like, you know, remember the Miller who's just like, I'm gonna beat my wife to death? Like, just, you know, fuck the guys. But this dude, like literally all he had to do was show basic respect for her, and he didn't do it. So yeah, I'm sure I don't want to marry you. It's a little late. Right. I just didn't want to spend the rest of my life wondering if I should have asked. Well, you can, you don't have to spend your life wondering a lot of things, sir. I'll clear it up for you. You know? Look after your mother, Oates. I would have liked the hey, how come? And it could have given, like, just a list of 45 things. And one of them says, I don't know, why don't you go find somebody named Mags and ask her? I don't know, man. Good morning, Mistress Druckerin. Are you off soon? Yes, Father. Just saying my last few farewells. Of course. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to know you or your father. God rest his soul. I am too. Don't let those Bohemians put any heretical ideas in your head. Once their pernicious seeds take root, they can choke the faith right out of you. Oh, I already don't like this dude. So, just this moment occurred to me, do we not get to see the mural? We have to see the mural, right? Like, that's gonna happen. I don't know, Father. I've heard they have some interesting ideas. All right, young lady. Just because I'm new here doesn't mean you should tease me. God bless you, Father Elias. God bless you and your travels. God bless you as well, Sister Amelie. Are you leaving today? I am. I'm just heading up to the mill in a bit. I'm so sorry for everything that happened. Your home was destroyed. Here's the thing, it wasn't her fault. Like, that's gotta feel... Like, she did live in a crypt and sleep in a grave, but it was the home that she knew. True. And your church. But I have lost my home before. I will find another. It is strange, though, standing in the light after all these years. Thank you for helping me. Do you know what you'll do now? Will you become an anchoress again? I don't know, honestly. Father Elias is trying to help me, but I need to learn to rely on my own judgment a little more. I'm going to take a long time to atone for my part in what happened. Perhaps the rest of my life. God knows you didn't mean to do any harm. He does, but harm was done. I am writing an account of what happened here. As well as I can remember it anyway. It is not enough to earn forgiveness. I pray that it will at least illuminate this history of great darkness. Good, it's worth remembering. God bless you, Sister Amelie. God bless and keep you safe on your travels, Magdalene. So why am I going to the mill? Just to talk to Paul? Hold on, we've got to... Jelly Buns was confirming Snorlax. Foxmode was saying, get fucked. I think that was probably to, what's-his-face. Angel here talking truth and understanding all genders is why he's a good egg and one of my favorite streamers. I appreciate that, Jelly Buns. It's just, like I said, I have in my life... this is one of the reasons... A truism in life is that sometimes the people who annoy you the most are the people who remind you of yourself that you see yourself reflected in. And I am straight up fessing up. I have had the experience, I have the memory in my life of calling somebody that I considered a very, very close friend a name that they didn't... It wasn't an insulting name. It wasn't intended as an insult. But it was one that they didn't like. And it took me way too long to recognize and understand that and to say, that it's like the basic form of like minimal respect to just call somebody by their name or by what they want to be called. If somebody says, I want you to call me T-Bone, I want you to call me yeah, like I'm a character from The Sandlot, I don't know about that. But if somebody says, well, look, my middle name is Jacob, and I want you to call me Jacob, just call him Jacob. Just do that. Just call them, but... Anyway, I've made my point. Magdalene, dear, I wish you'd stay with us. Little Andreas and Ulrich will miss you greatly. I'll miss them also. Tasking is not the place for me. It's past time to leave. You will find your happiness out there yet, somewhere behind the hills, beyond the hills and valleys. I know in my heart, know it in my heart. God looks after you as he does us all. That is my hope. Hope is what drives us forward. Maybe one day you'll come to visit us again, with your own family in tow. If that's the case, I'll send you a letter. Of course, do write. I sometimes still think of all the lives and places out there. When I was younger, I often dreamed of traveling, visiting the many kingdoms. But I found my peace, here and now, in passing, even after all that's happened. Well, the revolt heavily involved her husband, so let's... Yes, and Lenhart. It was a frightening time, not only to me, but to Paul, and to Anna. It's probably what brought them together in the end. A miracle. My little darlings, without them, I'd never had little Andreas and Ulrich. That feels like an odd, like phrasing. I'd never have had little Andreas and Ulrich, but whatever. I'm rambling. Stay safe on the road, Magdalene dear. We're still in dangerous times. I will. Godspeed, Magdalene. I like Paul. If Paul wasn't married to Anna, I would have made, this isn't a dating sim. It's not a persona, but I'm just saying that like Magdalene and Killian would have been okay, I feel like. They seem like okay people. I did not recognize Andreas.
Are you sure I look all right?
Of course, Andreas. You look perfectly respectable.
You're a little worse for wear, but a good sight better than you were. It was kind of the women to help clean me up. I'm afraid I'd forgotten how to look after myself. Some would say you took care of yourself quite admirably. How many men here could have survived in a burned-out cellar for the better part of 20 years?
Subsisting on our discarded rye, no less.
Sorry about that.
Andreas, we already told you it's all right now.
Magdalene! Hello, Magdalene.
Are you off soon? Hello. Yes, I'm riding with your flower to Mittenwald, then down to the Isar.
Sorry to see you go, Magdalene. But I hope Prague is everything you've dreamed of.
If it's half the city Esther describes, I'm sure I'll love it.
You have a chance to make a life of your own there. God knows I've squandered so much of mine. Use the time you have and use it well.
I will. I don't know how, but I will. I wish you could have seen it, Andreas.
I know. He would have loved it.
I hope so. Oh, it's his order thing. Look at that.
Magdalene,
If angels carried him down to bear witness, the heavenly host would have wept at him. You should have become a poet.
I don't have the talent for it.
Maybe not, but you do have the temperament.
Magdalene, I wanted to ask you something about the mural before you go. I thought it was supposed to cover the whole wall. Why did you leave a section blank?
For the future. Unless history is going to stop in tasking the moment I roll down the road.
I think your wagon is about to leave.
Oh, it is. It hardly feels like enough time. Thank you for everything you did for me, for my family. God bless you, Andreas Mahler.
Hey, Anna, I forgot to ask you about my hat. Andreas?
Are you all right?
I'm lost. That's all right.
You're welcome to stay with us for as long as you need. Besides, you can't leave yet. The Childerer require your expertise.
Oh?
They're up on the mill. The walkway. They're drawing. You can see the little doodles. I'll have supper ready when you're done.
Just remember that you're always welcome in our home, Andreas.
Thank you. Say thank you. Don't just nod like you expect it, like they owe you. So I want to go up and hang out with the kids. I hope I don't miss the opportunity to see the mural.
einst ein schönes Vaterland. Der Eichenbaum wuchs dort so hoch. Die Veilchen nickten sanft, es war ein Das küsste mich auf Deutsch und sprach auf Deutsch. Man glaubt, es kam wie Gutes klang. Das Wort, ich liebe dich, ich liebe dich. Es war ein Das Wort, ich liebe dich, ich liebe
Okay. Sometimes I very much cherish the opportunity to just shut up and listen to what the game is doing, and hopefully we don't get muted for that. So while the credits roll by in distressing silence, so as we talk about this, I will again and hopefully for the final time express my regret that I just don't know very much about this period in history or the style of art on which it's based. So I'm not going to be able to talk about that. I will say that I really adored the art style of it. It reminds me of the first time that I saw something in cell shading. Like, do you guys remember the first time that you saw and hello to Grumpy, by the way. I'm trying to remember the first game that I saw that was cell shaded. It wasn't Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. It might have been something like Jet Set Radio, but I remember seeing it and being like, holy hell. Just like there was something about seeing that cartoon style brought to life in a 3D environment where it just looked kind of way better than more traditional texturing had at that time, and it was super impressive. This feels like that, but for 2D art. It's such crisp, well animated, and it's not like a ton of frames of animation. Like, it's not like everybody has like 120 frames of animation as they're walking down the street, but what they do have feels so carefully crafted and so expressive for them. I was watching the dinner scene that we just had in this episode, and watching the characters like take some food and put it in their mouth and chewing, which was, to the best of my memory, not really an animation that we had seen before. The scene where Magdalene is crawling through the ruins of the church, and there's all of these animations of her like climbing up on something, hoisting herself up, gently lowering herself down, climbing on like some vines, or like tugging on the vines. These animations, to my memory, don't exist anywhere else in the game. And the game is so full of those moments where it's not like rigging a 3D model where you have to, I mean, at least as far as it doesn't look like it is to me. It looks like somebody sat there and manually designed these frames of animation to do these things in order to pull off like this one moment. And that scene of Magdalene like getting herself out of the church, like crawling up over the wreckage and then the thing falling and then her going up on the roof, that looks like something that would have taken somebody weeks to do. Maybe they had a very efficient art team and a very efficient engine, but it looked to me, I was like, this is really impressive for a style of animation. Like, you look at things like Call of Duty, and you're like, wow, it looks so graphically, like there's so much fidelity to it. And then you look at this, and it's not going for graphical fidelity, but what it's looking to do is to tell a full and complete story in this art style that never once, not until the very, very end there, breaks the, I want to call it a conceit, but I don't mean that in like a bad way. It never breaks the dedication to the art style that it's going to, except, by the way, when you have a character like Sebet. And remember in the very first episode, first episode or two, when that dude was around, yeah, I think the first 2 episodes he was around, and that character and the book that he shares with everyone was in a related but noticeably different art style because he was from elsewhere in the world. I don't remember if he specified Ethiopia, but somebody else mentioned that at some point, so now that's in my head. And like, that's awesome. There was also something that I have to confess in the art style that I just straight up didn't pick up on until one of Mia's friends, I think it was Sorry BTR, or maybe it was like Donk. Somebody mentioned that like the older characters, like the like Brother Adok, for example, when Andreas comes back for Act 2, was like the paint was chipping off of his character. I thought that his shawl was ripped and stuff. I didn't realize, like, ripped and, like, worn away. It was, but in a much more physical sense, in that he's a paint character living in a paint book, and the paint was, like, chipping off of his body. And I just didn't know that. But, like, once that was pointed out, I was like, oh, yeah, that really is very, very cool. It was Netheryam. Thank you, Mia, because I couldn't remember who had said that. So, just... nothing else that I say is going to top, well, thank you for making the game. Okay, sometimes you get like a post-credit thing or something. What do I want to say? Nothing that I say will top out the fact that this game had a very specific vision for what it wanted to do visually, how it wanted to visually present its story, and it never stopped being impressive. Through to the last episode, I was noticing animations and these special character moments, like just when Klaus's hand falls from the bed and Magdalene like goes to her knees, and then Andreas comes over and like hugs her, and she turns towards him. There's all of these little animation moments that exist for that one story moment, and never before and never again. And when you think about, as much as I enjoyed the gameplay of Marvel Midnight Suns, I'm not going to talk about the story, no spoilers, but one thing that I did talk about at the end are there's just these times when, either in conversation or when walking around or like observing the characters interacting in the Abbey, or sometimes in cutscenes, there's just missing animations. The characters are doing like their one sort of I am standing here animation, and they really don't gesture, they really don't like emote very much, regardless of what's going on. And by comparison, and I want to make it clear that we're talking about wildly different products with a wildly different scope of doing those animations and what else they're doing. But this is an example of a game that just super dedicates itself to making all of the story beats happen in engine and with a very precise eye towards, we're gonna spend 6 months animating this sequence if that's what it takes to have it done successfully. And what is also impressive is that I don't know how much I didn't see. It is possible, I don't know, and it doesn't seem likely, but I'll just share, it's possible that there's versions of this game where you hit Act 3 and you're playing as Anna, or you're playing as Oates. Like, depending on the other choices that you make, I don't know, but I feel like the choices that I made had long-reaching ramifications in this game, up to and including the fact that Magdalene was an empiricist. And I don't know, but I feel like that's something that might have come about from an interaction that she had when she was young, or maybe her parents had with Andreas. That his way of interacting with the world and trying to like think things through, and like, it's at least possible that that played to it. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's just she always is and you always play as her. But the game did an excellent job of convincing me that my choices were having an impact on the game. And I'll tell you this, I am perfectly comfortable wallowing in that delusion if it's not true, because the game completely sold me on that. And it gave me a huge sense of feeling that I may not always know where or when, but my choices do matter in this game. And if they quote-unquote don't, I feel like they did. And, you know, we're talking about like the lies that people tell themselves. I am willing to live in this lie, because I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. The music was sparing. And the music is going for an aesthetic, a time and a place that I just don't know much about. So I can't really comment on whether or not the music was good. I liked it. It fit the game very well. There weren't any musical moments that really stuck with me, with the extreme exception. And this is why the game's, I don't know that privation is quite the right word. The game's choice to go with a very minimalist musical score really worked well when a moment would come up like the pre-singing during the siege on the Abbey, and we were able to convince Brother Matthew's boyfriend to do that song. Or in this episode when the bard was singing the was it a Christmas song? I take it to be a Christmas song. Those really stuck out because they were lovely, they were well performed, they were well animated, and you were like, oh, holy crap, just because you don't get a lot of music. And those moments were so much more powerful because they weren't competing with a lot of music elsewhere. There were other aspects of the soundscape that, specifically in the first episode, and we're going to have a chat about the first episode. Specifically in the first episode, there was like Andreas walking around like talking to people in town, and there was just this cacophony of animal noises. And I think maybe the goal would have been to like establish this is a bustling village, and you know, it's a farming village. There's lots of cows and geese and chickens and pigs, and it was a lot. Like there was a lot happening orally all at once, and it was like, oh, they could have maybe just cut down the amount, not just the volume, but just the amount of noise by like 30%, the number of like things that are happening. And I feel like it would have been a little bit more comfortable going around. Fortunately, that dies off pretty quickly. Like that happens during that part of the game, and again, nowhere else. That it was the only time in the whole place that I felt like the background noise is a little bit much. And indeed, there were other moments like the Christmas party that went through today that was more quiet than I would have expected. I would have expected some sound of like utensils being used, you know, sips of drink being taken, people like moving their bowls and stuff, chatting with one another in this low sort of like hum of like social activity. And we just didn't get that. It was very, very, very quiet. So the soundscape was interesting, but I liked it more when it was more minimalist, as opposed to being a little bit overwhelming in that first episode. And then there's the story, which I want to get to in a second, because now I just want to talk briefly about that first episode of Pentiment. We learned a while back that first episodes of otherwise unknown and untested games should probably always be termed as an audition stream, because sometimes I'll play a game and I just realize that it's not for me, or I'll play a game and realize that I enjoy playing it, but it's not really going to stream very well. It's not going to be something that I feel like is comfortable to do on stream. And then there's games that I'll play that I just outright dislike, and I'm like, I don't want to play this. It's, it's not for me, and I don't think that it's well made. And that was how I felt about, I bring this example up, but it is the most stark example that I can remember. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was awful. It was an awful game, and I really intensely disliked it and have never played it again since then. I couldn't believe how bad that campaign was just over the course of a single episode. So usually episode 1s are audition streams, and most audition streams make it through to a full playthrough, because it turns out either by reviews from professional game reviewers, from recommendations from the audience, or just from things that one of us thinks look cool and would be fun, usually we're pretty good. Like we have a lot of information to draw from. Pentiment was chosen because I like narrative games, and I like games where stories matter, and I was given to understand that this was a mystery, and had what was, I want to say that first episode is like 2 or 3 hours, 3.5 hours, maybe 4, it's somewhere in there. It went a little bit longer than I was expecting, because it made a very negative first impression. Not a lack of a good first impression. Pentiment got off to a distressingly slow start. And one of the reasons that I wanted to insert this section right here is that I want you to understand all of the good things that I said about the musical moments and the graphical style and all the customized animations. And I want you to understand all of the things that I'm about to say about the rest of the story. Because if you're listening to this and saying like, oh, a slow start, well, here we go, another gamer who just wants a story full of explosions and lasers. No, I'm okay with stories that don't necessarily get to the meat of the action. What felt overwhelming about the first episode of Pentiment was that it was entirely unclear to me what the nature of the mystery or the investigation was going to be. And instead, I'm sort of thrust into the life of this Andreas Mahler, living in a Puritan history that, again, I just don't know very much about. I'm here to learn. Like, I don't need it to be Star Wars. Like, okay, let's learn what all of this is about. And for the first few hours of gameplay, it's about walking around and interacting with people that Andreas knows that I don't. And the game is introducing me to like 45 characters. And I remember interacting both here and then via like chats and stuff with friends afterwards, saying I appreciate what the game is going for, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, will the mystery, will the investigation, we finished Act 1 a little bit after the murder of Baron Rothvogel, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, I just spent 3 hours meeting every single person that lives in this village. I don't know who any of them are, and the topic of conversation was, will the mystery, will the investigation be satisfying if I don't ultimately know who did it? Not because the game doesn't explain it, but because it's villager number 36. Like, it was a lot. And I feel like the pacing of that first few hours, I don't have a lot of like strong recommendations on how I would do it differently, because again, I understand and respect what they're going for, but to me, there are few games that I've done an audition stream on that then went on to be a full playthrough that were as uneven a start for me as that first episode of Pentiment. And I was not sure that there was going to be a second. Well, I felt committed to do a second because I really wanted to get into the central investigation portion of it. what I wasn't sure is, was there going to be a third? And if you look back, the first few episodes are just sort of defined as parts, like, hey, let's check out some more, rather than being episodes. Now that it's in a full playthrough, they're all episodes, but at the time it was like, hey everyone, it's part 4, like, we're gonna keep checking this out, because I still consider it to be on the bubble. And the good news is, the more that we played, here's where Pentiment took a turn. And this was, I want to say in the second or third episode, it was when the game finally revealed what the actual mechanics were. And I was like, oh, like I still don't know if I'm going to be able to keep all the people safe. And the game still threw like 100 million people at me. But when I realized the structure of the game was, okay, here's the crime that you're trying to investigate. Here's the time frame that you have to investigate. You have, especially for that first mystery, you've got time to do 4 things. Here's 9 things that you're going to want to do in order to get the full picture. So now go figure it out. That was when I was like, okay, that's an interesting gameplay loop, because I want to get to the truth of it, and what I need to do is think about what I know, who I've spoken with, what information I've picked up, to determine what is the most constructive use of this time, because you can't do everything, so you need to prioritize what you think is going to be the most beneficial towards solving this crime. And I greatly appreciate something that, like, I don't want answers from this. I might look it up later, but at this moment, I have no idea if Prior Ference was involved in the death of Baron Rothvogel. I know he was up to some shady shit that the church wasn't going to approve of. That gave him motive to do the murder. I know that we found something that sure seemed like a murder weapon, and the game heavily implied to me, something that I can't prove, but that Baron Rothvogel was not killed by the knife that we found in his back. That was a posthumous stab, and that the murder weapon was something else. But I don't know that because I didn't take the doctor background, and then I didn't go to the autopsy, so I don't actually have that information. Because of that, I don't know if that dude did it. And the game never clarified it for me. It never said, you know what, you were right, he did do it. I don't know how you figured it out, but he did do it. And it never said, well, he was up to some witchcraft, but bad news, he had nothing to do with it. And I don't know. And I love the fact that I don't know, because if I don't know, Andreas doesn't know. And that means that it made so much more sense that he would be haunted by the events that had happened, and then maybe didn't write back to Klaus for all of those years. And when you hear me talk about that, you'll understand that when I acknowledge that I thought that the first 3 to 4 hours of Pentiment, to me, were very, very slow paced, and I don't think show the game in its best light, and I don't think are a good introduction to this game, I'm extremely glad that I stuck with it, because once the story gets going, and once the central gameplay loops reveal themselves, it's like, oh, and also it, like, in a weird way, even though you keep meeting new people, you sort of get a sense for, like, I don't give a crap who Kraft was. Like, even there at the end when we saw his painting on the wall, like the family tree, and it was like, oh, Kraft was... So Kraft specifically was the son of fake Martin Bauer and real Brigida. Was that Martin's wife? And so, like, I know who he was. I don't care. Like, because he's not important to the story. And I think that that's one of the other things that the game was going for. I think it was deliberately, in those first few hours, introducing you to all of these people that Andreas knows, but at the moment you're not sure who's important. And the good news is the game does a really good job of winnowing down those numbers so that as you're going through the investigation, you do know. And the game does, like, these really brilliant things where, like, whether it's Andreas talking to Klaus, or Andreas talking to Caspar, or Magdalene talking to her father, it tends to start off these different sort of like arcs of like this day or like this time period with the characters talking to each other about like, so what do you think you're going to go do? Here's a few things that might be a good idea, and here's why they might be a good idea. Those are really good summation points. You get these like Dr. Watsons that talk to your Sherlock Holmes and say, well, here's a brief recap for you, Sherlock, just in case anyone else was in hearing distance and they might want a little bit of information about what you might be up to today. And it just works really well. So then that just leads me to in just a quick thought experiment about what would make those early hours better. I don't know. One idea, and as I say this, I want to acknowledge in advance, it's super hackneyed and played out, but there's a reason why sometimes a story will begin in media res, but begin in the middle of things and then go back to earlier that day. So is there a space in a story like this to start with the murder of Baron Rothvogel and then to like wind the clock back 12 hours and be like earlier that day, so at least you have some sense of who you'd be looking for and like what Andreas was up to? I don't know. It's not a great solution, but if you go back and watch episode 1, I really was feeling like, where is any of this going? And more importantly, like, even if I feel like I know that there's a mystery on the way, is the mystery going to mean anything if it's one of like, you know what it was? It reminded me of Scream 2. Spoiler alert for Scream 2, but to me, the solution to the mystery of who done it is not satisfying when the answer is some guy. Remember that guy that you saw like for 2 seconds at the beginning? Yeah, that guy. None of the people that you thought it was. It's just some guy. Oh, by the way, and like his mom, who's over here. Who were they? I don't know. They just showed up. Like, that's not a satisfying answer to the mystery. It's unexpected. It's a twist, I guess, but it doesn't feel satisfying to the audience, so it's not a good twist. And I was worried that this game was going to wind up with that. Not because it was like... Not because it wouldn't make sense in the story, but because I would be too dim-witted to understand it, because, as I've talked about, you give me 5 characters with, like, distinctive profiles and, like, manners of speaking and vocations, and I can tell them apart. You give me 1,800 characters, and they're all, like, sort of tooling around in peasant clothing. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, like, here's a good example. I acknowledge to you, truly, Prior, Ference, and Abbot... whatever his name is, it'll come to me in a moment. Not Matthew, but the other dude. Matthew I could understand, but Prior, Ference, and Abbot, whatever his name was, don't look very similar, and yet I got them very confused throughout the first 2 or 3 episodes. I really did. Like, they have different roles, they have different, like, I think they had the same, like, writing style, but they have different hairstyles. One of them has a beard, but I would just consistently get them confused because they were similar enough that I was just like, I don't know. Like, one of them is my boss, and the other one is my boss's boss, so I just call them both sir and figure that things will work out. So, yeah, I don't know. And I want to bring that up because... moving past, it was around episode 5. It was like, okay, well, at this point, I'm definitely in it for the long haul. And when the game cut forward, like, better part of a decade and came back in Act 2, I was like, okay, this is super cool. And then from Act 2 to Act 3 was even cooler. Like, what have our decisions wrought? How is the world different? How has my character been defined? And I talked about it probably too much, but the little details, like Andreas's hat carrying forward and being an heirloom for that family and now worn by Ulrich. I think that details like that are just, they're so cool. And I'll also say that the other thing that gave me a lot of confidence is that even though those first couple hours were, to me, very unsteady, I wanted to persevere because the reviews for this game had been very good, both on Steam and generally, like professionally, like game critic reviews. And also because I've played a lot of other games that were written by, designed by, or otherwise helmed by, directed by Josh Sawyer. And he was the game director on this. And I've enjoyed enough of his other works that it gave me a lot of confidence that it would pull itself together, and then it did. And in really good fashion. So, yeah, I know a lot of people worked on this, but he was like credited at the very beginning as one of the lead writers, as well as the game director or something closely akin to that. So I was like, all right, rock on, man. Let's see how it goes. And I'm very, very glad that I did that. There are 1,000,001 games out there that are not worth your time to push through if they get off to an unsteady start. And if I was to... I will spend a lot of time saying to people, I really enjoyed Pentiment. If you choose to play Pentiment, please budget in a few hours for the story to get going, because once it does, I feel like you'll find a lot to understand and appreciate. I feel the same way about like a lot of Joss Whedon shows, for example. I have never seen a television series made by Joss Whedon or Jed Whedon where the first X number of episodes were just very dull, very muddled, very confused about where they were going. But once the show hit its stride, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it went on to give multiple seasons of really great entertainment. It just sort of needed some time for the cast and the writers to find their voice. And then when they did, the actual structure of the stories were very well executed. This didn't feel to me like it was trying to find its voice. It felt extremely confident right from the start. The issue is it felt confident in something that didn't feel like it was written for me, and I'm delighted to have been proven wrong as we went forward. I'm trying to think if there's any other thing that I'd want to touch on. There's always something that I forget about on the back half. I did spend some time in the previous episode saying it's going to feel super weird as shit if Andreas is still alive, but then I talked about it briefly before, the revelation that Caspar had been the one who saved him, and then not in the act of saving Andreas, but because Andreas had so thoroughly failed to establish himself as a wise authority figure, Caspar then took actions that got himself killed. Then I understood why someone like Andreas, who was already so miserable, would have, dedicated himself to the life of a hermit, living in the ruins underneath the abbey. Then I was like, oh, I get it. I do get it now. So that suddenly made sense to me. I feel like that's it. I guess maybe on the final is that, like, as much as I enjoyed the game, I would have difficulty recommending it to others. First, because of that slow start. Secondly, because of the subject matter. It feels like this game would really best be appreciated by people that know something about the Holy Roman Empire, life in the 16th century, the art style and musical styles that this brings. I don't know any of those things, so I feel like there's probably a lot more that I can't really speak to. But is there benefit? And I argue that there is. This is not a rhetorical question for me. I submit that there is benefit in having a layperson, just a regular person. I don't want to say regular because I'm not a regular person because I'm ignorant. I happen to be ignorant of this. There's other things I know. I don't know this. I submit that there's benefit in having people that are not steeped in this era of history playing a game like this so that they can share thoughts and like, well, I didn't know very much about this, but I liked it and I learned some stuff along the way, like what a rat house is, even though I still to this moment only about 60% sure on how to pronounce it. What else? In the past episode, Drienne and Jody K helped me to learn what the name of is the hairstyle that the monks wear. I don't remember it right now, but the next time I encounter that word, I'd probably recognize it. So I learned something, right? I feel like there's some benefit to that. There was a couple other things that came up, like I don't recognize this, and then people in chat were like, oh, it's this and that. I guess if there's one more just like presentational thing, tonsure. Yes, thank you, Samalander. That's exactly it. Yeah, I may not have called it to mind, but like I said, like I recognize it now. The ending of the game, the very ending of the game, because one of the things that I talked about is that this game never gave up. It never gave up its I hate the word gimmick, but I'm trying to think of like the not the framing. This is really going to bother me. I'm going to think about it 5 minutes after we stop streaming. The presentation, I'll just go with, of you're looking at an animation of these characters that live in this book, this world of paper. When you go from from screen to screen, the page flips over. Like, it never gave up that aesthetic. And until the very end, when the camera pulls back from the book and you are in the space that Magdalene painted, and it's so much more than I expected it to be, because now you're not looking at the artist's rendition, the artist's replication in the book of what Magda painted. You're looking at what she actually painted in this 3D environment with this very precisely filled in textures of the paint and the cracks in the wall. And it's a hyper-realistic room that depicts her artwork probably years and years and years after it was first done. And that was very potent. And like, the art on the walls is a little bit different than what you're looking at in the book. It was... And I have no doubt, there's certain things where I'm like, I don't know how this is different for other people. I have no doubt that the mural that's on the wall is greatly affected by the choices that you made in the game. First for the sections that Magdalene painted, and then for that family tree that Andreas had painted over on the wall. Also, I did want to say, because this was going to bother me if I didn't say it, how awesome was it that we saw that Endris and his wife had like 5 kids? That's so cool. Like, again, if somebody doesn't want a family, they don't want to get married, they don't want to have kids, awesome. That's perfectly fine. If somebody does like Endris, but they feel their time has passed, and Andreas Mahler, during a comparatively short time here in Tassing, was able to give him the motivation and the confidence to go out and find his happiness, and then he does... And then you see it there on the family tree wall, these like branches of Tassing that sort of spread up through the ages. That's just, it's so cool. Like, I really love that. So yeah, I just wanted to call out that I'd noticed that, along with like the hat and stuff, that these were effects that our choices had. And it makes me very curious to see other people's murals and how they came out, and to see other playthroughs, how much differently it could go. So it's one of those games that I feel like the list of people that I'd enthusiastically recommend it to is a little limited, just because it feels like such a passion project for people that have an interest in, or an adoration for, an appreciation for this specific thing. But it very much makes me want to see other people like Drienne, like Mia, like Harmonious Crow, like other people that like narrative games. I'm wondering what it would be like. And like, by the way, when I think it was No Oats stopped by and said, thank you for showing me this game, it was really fun. Like people who otherwise hadn't known about it saw it and decided to play it. Oh, that's awesome. I said to No Oats at the time, there's almost no kinder thing that you can say to a streamer than, you inspired me to pick this game up and I loved it. I love that so much. I think that's it. I knew there was something I wanted to say, that thing about Endris. That's it. That is our full playthrough of Pentiment. Looking ahead, we just finished Midnight Suns. Now we finished Pentiment. That means that there's either going to be some short streams coming up, like just a couple quick playthroughs, or more likely a couple audition streams as we sort of figure out like what's next on the horizon. But it will be something. So please do join us in the days and weeks ahead for some more great streaming as we head here into the rest of April 2023 and on to whatever comes next. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for these adventures. Pentiment is very different from Midnight Suns, and very different than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and very different from the Telltale games that we've played, and the Don't Nod games, and everything else. And it's what I love about being a variety streamer, that we get to engage in these games, check them out, more often than not play them through, and then move on to something else completely fresh and see what's next on the horizon, because there are so many fantastic games to play, and I'm looking forward to sharing the next ones with you. Jägermeister saying, next Mia plays Pentiment, singing the entire time in the style of monastic music of the 16th century. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say Grumpy? I don't know if I credited that to Grumpy. For some reason, my eyes saw Jägermeister, and that's who I thought at first, but that was Grumpy. Grumpy saying thank you for the stream. Well, again, thank you guys for joining me. This has been, in the balance, a very fun playthrough, and I'm so glad that we got a chance to play it. It was absolutely worth the sale price that I picked it up for from Steam, and we will have a great many more fun gaming adventures coming up. We are now going to find somebody fun to raid, and I'm going to join Mia, Samalander, and many others for this week's episode of Kyber Shards and the Watch Party. Thank you to Patikin for the raid. Thank you to Jelly Buns, Samalander, Fox McCloud, More Than a Mia, I Moo to You Moo too. Club was in here earlier. Dougler, Inner Tooth, if I didn't say Inner Tooth earlier, and now it seems like that's as far back as I can. Oh, Takarosh was in here. And to everybody else, I know that Solid Chrome Hickey was in here earlier. Everybody, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you again in the days to come. Until next time, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great night.